And hello, everybody. It is, well, sort of a DuoDive. This week hosted by me, Trusty Extra Mercantile. But as all DuoDives, I have my partner in crime, Katie from Vintage and Vinyl. So not my voice from above. This time we are equal partners hosting the DuoDives. And this is one that I snagged when we first were doing the schedules, that I wanted to do a DuoDive that is dedicated to the Just One More Dachshund rescue. So yes, if you're sick of hearing about dachshunds, you can turn off the video now because you're just going to hear about dog stuff. But hopefully you don't turn it off, because we're just going to have fun. It's going to be a chat, basically. I'm going to highlight some stuff that's happening for tomorrow, because the live event is finally here. Is coming tomorrow night, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Will be the actual live event for the Just One More Dachshund Rescue fundraiser. But before we get into that, I'm going to say hello to Katie.
Hi, guys.
And why don't you say hello and tell people what, most people probably know who you are, but tell people who you are and maybe some things you've got scheduled coming up on your channel, because I need to do something really quick.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Katie from Vintage and Vinyl. I am Patrick's DuoDive buddy for DuoDives on Wednesdays, and I'm part of the Triptych on Nate's. Let's see. No, it will be on my channel this week. It's been quite a busy week. Yeah, this week on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I will be talking all about Coca-Cola fantasy items and reproduction. So I'm very excited about that. I think that will be a lot of fun. So that will be at 8 p.m. And today, if you did not see the video that I just dropped on my channel, I am celebrating 2,000 subscribers, and I am asking all of you guys to join in on something fun to celebrate 2,000 with me, related to Jell-O, since you guys all picked the nasty shrimp Jell-O. And Patrick is going to do that with me, so that will be fun. So that came out today, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of the Just One More Dachshund fundraiser. And I hope all of you guys are going to have fun tonight, chatting, hanging out, and then seeing some cool dog stuff.
Excellent. And I will just give a sneak peek. I am participating in Katie's 2,000 subscribers celebration. I will be eating something that is Jell-O related. And I will say I purchased my ingredients, and I will give one hint to what I'll be eating. Am I allowed to do that, Katie?
Yeah, you can absolutely.
I will give one ingredient. We'll just say SpaghettiOs. So we're just gonna let that. We're just
excited about this.
We're just gonna let that rest out there, and so it will be a gelatinous surprise that involves SpaghettiOs. So.
And Patrick, let me say, is a trooper. Let me just say that he is awesome for coming and eating with me.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you've hit 2,000. I didn't really do anything for my 2,000, but I know you've been working at it. You've been promising. And I felt you are such a trooper doing all the Jell-O recipes for fun. And the last time I was appalled how many people were like, "Oh, I missed it. Do it again." Like, no, that is what the replay button was invented for. And so I took pity upon you. And so I'm going to be one of the people with you in spirit, if not with you physically. So hopefully you'll get some other people to participate. But for now, I will definitely be making my recipe. So that is not this coming Monday. It's the following Monday, right?
Yeah, the following Monday, the 14th.
So I will not make my recipe this weekend. I will make it next weekend. So.
But it is going to be all kinds of gross, and in a most hilarious way, I might add. Because some of these recipes, it's like, why in the 50s did people eat this stuff? And my grandmother, I was just talking to her the other day, and she said, "Oh, I love those Jell-O recipes. We ate them all the time." And she's like, "I love the ones with the cucumbers." I'm like, "No, those are evil and they must be destroyed."
Just no. So do some quick hellos in the chat. So we got Peterson's joining in. Vintage Vinny has joined us. Lucinda. Nate coming in from New Zealand. Tim coming in from Canada. Carrie trying to stay awake in Texas. Let's see. That was towards the bottom. So we had Dawn herself. So Dawn, the reason I'm wearing the hat. So Dawn, if you are not familiar with the chat, or not familiar with her, Dawn is actually the mother of all dachshunds. She is at least the mother of the Just One More Dachshund rescue. So the event tomorrow, 100% of all the proceeds of what I sell tomorrow night will be going to JOMDR. You can donate directly to JOMDR. So that's the address that's scrolling across the screen. So feel free to take that down. I will talk about what will happen and what you can get by making donations. But Dawn is keeping track of all of those donations and making sure that everyone is getting their entries to win the mystery boxes. And I will talk about the mystery boxes in a little bit. So Dawn has joined us and okay, Dawn, you also tell, because I keep making it up. I don't know how many dogs you have anymore. So I'm like 18 to 20-ish, but I know you picked up one or two more. So go ahead and put the new total of how many dachshunds are currently in your sanctuary right now. So we got Val is in the chat. Kara, the Kitchen Corner, has joined us. Edward has joined us. Angela coming in also from Chicago. Eclectic Treasure Hunter. I'm sorry, I don't actually know your real name. Do you know that one, Katie?
Eclectic. Yes, that's Deb.
Hi, Deb. And Diane is here. Yes, SpaghettiOs. It's a different kind of disgusting. Yeah, I'm taking the disgusting route a little bit differently than Katie. So there's entirely possibility I will throw up on air, but that was my childhood. So we're.
I don't know if that can be worse though than the shrimp and the.
Oh no! There's a different type of bad. I don't think
they're both bad though.
Yes, I don't think I'm trying to win anything. I'm just taking a different direction. Pam has joined us. Thanks for joining us, Pam. Chad coming in, also from Maryland, along with Dawn. Vinny is here. Sandy coming in from Michigan. And let's see. I guess things were getting colder down in Texas, I've heard.
It's finally cool here. We have a 50-degree day today, and I am living for it in Florida. It's so nice.
Jan has joined us, and several of these names are also donors of some of the things I'll be talking about. So thank you again for joining in. Let's see. I beg you to have SpaghettiOs and wieners in a lovely Jell-O mold. Well, you never know. Wishes can come true. But Jennifer, I do not question the throwing up option.
Yeah, we might need a bucket.
Yeah. So we'll do the marshmallow bucket.
Oh yes,
from the Chubby Bunny episode.
That was so bad.
Edward, congratulating you on your 2000.
Thank you, Edward.
Carolyn coming back into the chat. Thanks for joining us again. Let's see. Blackie Jr. Lynn. I'll call you Blackie, but I have a feeling you might have a real name. Maybe Lynn.
And I don't know her name. I think I got that right. I don't know. You're on Nancy's sale. I should know, but I can't remember.
Okay. Fluffy Otter needs no other name because Fluffy Otter is just an amazing name. Hello, Julie, for coming in. Mary's coming in from New York. And let's see. Linda's coming back in. Thanks for joining us again, Linda.
Oh, Fiona. That's it.
Fiona. Excellent. I'll try to remember that one. Debbie coming in from Chicago. A lot of the items that are being donated had come from her. So thank you. Maria, Empty Nesting 2. And let's see. Vintage and Vino. I've just lost. There it is. They were responsible for shipping one of the items. It was donated by Bree, purchased by Bree, but they drop shipped it. So Vintage and Vino. There was a video that I posted. Brian Hans has come in. Jerry came in from my Flea Market Treasures. There was a video posted last night that was kind of a highlight of some of the items that I'd gotten in recently. That included the item from Bree and Vintage and Vino, Tim and Jerry. Also included an item three items from Jamie at Mid-Century Wasted. She donated a few things. And there was another item from Beth at Carolina Princess, Sweet Treats and Pretties. And I also highlighted some items that have been donated by Michelle Decker, who I haven't seen in the chat recently. She actually donated a bunch over the summer, and I've been storing it and tripping over it ever since. So some of those had been boxed up, and I actually kind of forgot some of what she donated. And a lot of the items that will go live on my eBay store tomorrow for an auction are actually from her. She donated quite a few impressive. Oh, and Jamie's here. Hey, Jamie. I don't think I said hi.
There was lots of great items donated in that video that you showed, Patrick.
Yes, and I feel bad because and Delbert's here. He donated some recipes to the recipe box. I will talk about that. Cheryl's joined us as well. I felt bad. I've talked enough. People are sick of it. We all have jobs. We all have lives. I just was traveling a lot during October, so I fell a little bit behind in promoting some of the auction items. So I felt bad that some of them were getting pushed to the very end. And really, I'd hoped everything would be done by tomorrow night. People were so generous. That cannot happen. And I will say, from a mental health state, I basically accepted the fact this was not all going to be finished by the 11th, and I'm in a much better place.
That is wonderful. Yeah.
I was stressing out because I wanted it all to be done. I wanted to be able to write one check to the charity, having it all done at one time. It just couldn't happen. And, once I accepted that, we're done. Hey, Judy. Yes. So Judy is asking, so let me give myself full screen. This is actually a very good segue, Judy. This, although it absolutely looks like Scooby-Doo, and I do not know who mentioned that the last time, because
I think
absolutely looks like Scooby-Doo. And now I cannot not see Scooby-Doo when I look at the bottom of the hat.
Well, he's got the green,
Yeah, it's the green. It's like, that is exactly what you'd expect from Scooby-Doo. But let's see if I can do the side view. If you can see it. Can you see it, Katie?
Yep, you can see the Dachshund hound.
So I have a Oktoberfest. It's a Dachshund Oktoberfest hat. The Dachshund is wearing a mask and a German hat. And this is one of the items that is actually up for auction. So I do not, as most people know that are already familiar with my channel, I do not do offer ups or auctions on my live sales, but I do have an eBay store, which really I wasn't using all that much. So I do use it now. And I have been putting, for the last several months, I'd put like one item a week. I'd show it on a live sale and just put it up. And things that I thought were a little bit more, maybe more rare, more interesting, that might be a little bit, get some interest. That is what I'm now using for the Dachshund fundraiser. So there are currently 5 items up for sale right now that will end during the sale tomorrow night. So if you go to my eBay store, you can follow it. There's a link in my, there should be now. Actually, I have to add a link to the YouTube video. I don't think there is one there now. But you can follow me at linktree/th mercantile, or if somebody wants to drop one of the links in the chat. The items that are up for sale currently, and they all have bids, which I'm very excited about. So all of these
that is fantastic.
Yes. So these will all at least sell for their current bids, or maybe they'll go up. One of them is a armor bronze single bookend. It's got a gentleman reading a book in front of an old-fashioned fireplace with a dog underneath the chair. So that is currently up for sale, and I believe that is a current bid of $25. The hat is currently up for sale. That is currently has 2 bids, and that is going for $20. There's a Pearson's 1901 magazine. Photos in the eBay listing show it better. That is currently going for $13.50. I think that is 3 bids. And I'll only show one of them, but there's a pair of Stengel Oliver Gold candlesticks with the copper flake lucite candlesticks to go with them. So I have a pair of these. Those I think are currently at, I want to say $35. I think those have 1 or 2 bids on them. And then the last item, and there are several people in the chat who participated in this, is the recipe box. So we're going to go through, I'll actually go through a little bit, because this is one of those cases where what I had done is I found this box, probably like 80s, 90s, just an oak box that somebody hand painted some veggies on there. And I asked the vintage community to provide me recipes, and I got them. So the people who donated recipes, many of them are in the chat tonight. Helen Casey, Karen Dondelinger, Nettie. Actually, Karen Dondelinger and Nettie win the award for they caught on to it later. They didn't know that I was doing it. And because they were concerned I wouldn't get them in time, they sent theirs priority mail. So they actually spent big bucks to try and get those to me.
That is awesome.
Yes, that was very gracious of them. I'm like, why am I getting priority mail in like one of the flat envelopes? Like, what am I getting from these people? So Jan Goodwin, Suzanne Raspberry from Raspberry Picking, Carla Opp. Soul Nate sent his souffle recipe. I had to print that one out. So you get a very, very high-end Xerox print of Soul Nate souffle recipe. So that is in there. You wanted to participate from New Zealand. Kara from the Kitschy Corner sent some in. Melody and Halem. Peterson actually sent in 2 batches. She sent her first batch, and then we realized that I really wasn't getting very many people to participate. So she sent some more. So thanks to Peterson. Jerry from My Flea Market Treasures sent some in. Beth from Sweet Treats Pretties. No, Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. Angela from Dear Angela's Vintage. And Delbert from Proud American. I know they were there. So all of those, so the box and all the recipes, plus any other recipes I get before tomorrow night, will all be auctioned off. This was a bid of $10. So, it's priceless. These are recipes from all the individuals. Katie's sending me some recipes too. She actually mailed them to me, but I didn't get them yet. And I think that's the problem with traveler boxes. They're just missing.
So I am sending them via email. So they won't be on the fancy card.
Those will be in there too. So recipes include zucchini bread, sloppy joes, chicken enchiladas, white chicken chili, Chewies, lemon chicken, Harvey Wallbanger cake. Pardon me. All right, it has a 1/4 cup of vodka in it.
Ooh.
And a 1/4 cup of Galliano? What's that?
I've heard of that. I think it's an Italian liquor.
Is it? So it's a liquor?
I think it's a liquor, if I'm right.
I don't know if that's what normally goes in a Harvey Wallbanger. Can't say I ever had one. So we've got a recipe with a Harvey Wallbanger with vodka and Galliano in it. Chewies, peanut butter pie, whisker licking dog cookies. Okay, now I will say there's a story on this one. So I'm just like skimming through when they came in, just like wondering what they had. For whatever reason, I saw the whisker licking and just didn't register the rest of the sentence. I started looking at the recipes. The first item on the recipe is 7 ounces of beef baby food or any meat flavor. I'm like, what the hell are we making? I'm like, dog treats. Okay. So you can have beef flavored baby food. You can turn it with wheat germ and non-fat powdered milk, not instant. You can make dog cookies. So
that is awesome. And yes, the liquor is sort of a banana flavor. It is Italian and it's very mild.
Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. There you go. Turkey enchilada bake, wild rice and turkey soup, quinoa and chicken salad, black bean and sweet corn salad, whole food salad. I will also say there tended to be a trend that some of the recipe cards were exceptionally healthy and that others were not. So hot pizza dip, hummingbird cake with a little note said my favorite, taco dip, Christmas crackle. No, I'm sorry, Christmas crack. Okay, that just got me demonetized. Mom's apple crisp, Caribbean punch, a 1970 party favorite. Sausage balls, which I have to give a shout out on this one. So I'm not good at reels or things like that on Instagram. It's one of those. I'm not even good at stories. I'm just trying to figure these things out. So I did like my second or third reel ever was a short reel for the recipe box, and I pulled the song "Food Glorious Food" from Oliver. And as I'm going across this card, which is for sausage balls, the song starts saying sausage and something. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't even planned.
That's perfect.
It was perfect timing. And I'm like, I was considering redoing it. Like, nope, that's a keeper. Got to keep the one that shows sausage when it sings sausage. Also, an interesting side bit. I don't know, Katie, you do a lot more stories than I do. So I looked up, how do you add music to a story, or how do you add music to a reel if you can't find it? Because I have the hardest time finding any music.
Yeah.
Even one that I know is a reel or out on TikTok, and I'm trying to find it. It just doesn't come up. So it said suggestions. Like I thought maybe could you record it? Could you somehow download it? One of the little cheats is to literally play the music in the background while you're filming the video. Okay, you know what? That's a low enough tech for me. I could totally do that. So I happen to be of the two phone world, two phone lifestyle. I have one phone for work and one phone for my personal. So I filmed on my personal and I played the song on my other one, and I just held the two phones together so that the sound came straight in. It's perfect. I then posted it. Within literally seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds, it got tagged by the London
Yep.
Philharmonic Orchestra. It was added to their music list. I'm like, okay, that's freaky. That's it. All of a sudden, I wasn't being penalized. It just now when you play it, it says it gives a little credit across the bottom. And now I guess if you wanted to copy my reel, you'd be able to use that song. And I'm just like, well, but I couldn't find the song before I looked. So I don't know how. It was just one of those weird little things.
It's
But
bizarre, and you know what I found on stories too is when you search certain things, they don't come up. Like if you use, like for example, I use the Tonight banner a lot. I like the little Tonight and lights. It comes up. Well, it doesn't always show up for me on Instagram. So I found out that if I spell it incorrectly, it appears. Now, why? I don't know. Same with thank you. There's a little guy. He's green, yellow, and he's got a little hat, and he's like tipping his hat, and he says thank you. He's kind of squishy. I use him all the time. Couldn't find him the other week and was really mad because I just love him. He's perfect. He's so me. Well, I now have to spell thank you, but instead of the U on the end of thank you, I have to spell it with an I. And he comes up. Don't ask me why.
well, that's
Instagram's bizarre.
crazy.
So it can be weird sometimes doing those things.
Hey, Christina. Hey, Dana. Dana donated some things that were going into the sale as well. So anyway, so there's a lot of different recipes. I actually didn't count them, but I've got to have at least 20 or 30 recipes in here. So they're all going in the box. The box is currently on the eBay, my eBay store again for $10. And we'll see if it gets any more, because is there technically a lot of value to this? Like I said, it could be considered priceless because you're getting recipes from throughout the vintage community, but it's more like, just remember it's for the dogs. 100% of what, after fees, of course, I have to cover my eBay fees and shipping, but 100% of the money that is being collected by the item selling of this, selling the hat was donated by Melody and Halem. The box was donated by me. The candlesticks were donated. I think I said she was here. The candlesticks were donated by Debbie from Chicago. So an excellent item for that. So all of the money collected from that will be donated directly to Just One More Dachshund. I have already sold a number of items. Like some of the bigger ones was a Scotty themed game board. I sold the 3 dancing frog vase, which also was donated by Debbie from Chicago. A handful of there was a couple of big ticket items that got sold. Between that and between the money that's being donated for the to win the sponsorships and the donations coming in, which will apply toward the mystery boxes, we have raised over $1,000 already. So super excited about that.
And that's right, Delbert. Saving a doggo is completely priceless.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And there you go. Nate's souffle is also, it's worth millions. So let's see what Nate say. I hope whoever wins that box makes my souffle. It would actually be interesting if it does stay within the vintage community, that even though it's on eBay, I have a feeling this will get bought by somebody who knows the people listed. I would love if people actually made some of these recipes. Now, I right now I've only put in one that's more out of a limitation of time than anything else, but I actually wrote it up today. So that's for my pumpkin bread. I will be making that at Thanksgiving time. It's great, a fantastic and super simple recipe. And most of the recipes did appear to be serious recipes. Like these weren't. I didn't find any weird shrimp Miracle Whip.
Yeah, that's good.
Nasty. We've got peanut brittle. That was from Peterson. Helen Casey sent in crab balls. Melody, Hawaiian salad. Let's see, what's in a Hawaiian salad? Guess what's in a Hawaiian salad. There's only 4 ingredients. Oh, no.
Pineapple.
Wait. No, there's 6 ingredients. They're just not all listed. That's a weird way of doing a recipe. Pineapple is one of them.
Cherries?
No, mandarin oranges.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mandarin oranges.
Sugar, eggs, flour, salt, 2 cans of chunk pineapple, and 2 cans of mandarin oranges. Bring to a boil. And then fold in Cool Whip. and
Ooh,
add a bag of
ooh,
mini marshmallows.
that does sound pretty good.
Monkey
Yeah.
bread. Let's see.
Oh, I
What
love
Delbert?
monkey bread.
Delbert sent something alcoholic. Whiskey slush.
Ooh.
And there's actually a backstory to that. He actually sent the recipe to me twice because the first time when he'd actually written out the recipe, he forgot to include whiskey. So the whiskey slush had gone virgin. So he fixed that. And so that's got lemonade, orange juice, black tea, sugar, water, whiskey, and 7-Up or Sprite.
Oh, that sounds pretty good, Delbert. And I'll be sending my great grandmother's Scotch bread in, and my grandmother's let's see, she makes a delicious spinach casserole with Velveeta cheese. It was so good. I used to eat it for breakfast as a kid.
All right.
So
Speaking of casseroles, Delbert sent in another recipe. Now this one actually has a Delbert original recipe at the bottom. And I don't know why Delbert is claiming this, but I'm sure he's proud of it. Sauerkraut casserole. We'll just say this will not be made in my household.
Sauerkraut.
So an onion, pork sausage, two 32-ounce jars of sauerkraut. Those are freaking big jars.
That is large.
Those are 2 big jars of sauerkraut. Cream cheese, garlic bouillon base. I always want to make something with bouillon because I see it all the time, and I've never in my life had something made with a bouillon cube. Powdered ranch, stovetop stuffing, and shredded cheese.
Okay, wait a minute. Stovetop stuffing with the sauerkraut? Okay, that I need to try, Delbert, just to see, because I do love my stovetop stuffing.
So it's a box of stovetop stuffing. So you brown the sausage and onions, add the sauerkraut that has been drained, cream cheese, garlic base, powdered ranch, and the browned sausage mix. Pour into a greased casserole dish. Prepare stuffing. So you'll prepare it first according to the directions, and spoon the stuffing on top of the casserole. So it's basically creating the breading on top. Top with generous amounts of cheese. Bake until nice golden top crust.
Well, I'll tell you what, anything with cheese, you cannot go wrong.
See, and I went the total sweet route. My pumpkin bread includes the highlights: 4 eggs, 3 cups of sugar, and 2 cups of pumpkin. So it's nice and sweet. Let's see. And I don't know what somebody just repeated the hummingbird cake. Have you heard of a hummingbird cake?
No, I don't know what that is.
I think I've heard of it, but I couldn't have told you what it was. So hummingbird cake is flour, sugar, salt, baking soda, cinnamon, eggs, vegetable oil, vanilla extract, a 1 8-ounce can of crushed pineapple in the juice, undrained, and 2 cups of chopped bananas.
Ooh,
right, I'm sorry, that actually sounds disgusting.
See, I don't know about the bananas. That's the only thing throwing me off.
I be turned off by the pineapple and the bananas. And I'm also, it's one of those things too. There's a couple of them that were in here, I want to say, that actually, like, one of the ingredients was yellow cake mix. Yes, that is the way to cook. You only need 3 ingredients, and one of them is an entire cake mix. I'm like, yep, that works for me.
Well, my grandmother's Scotch bread cookies are so easy because they're just sugar, flour, and is it just an egg? I think. I don't know. It's just like 3 things. They're so easy to make.
So the quinoa and chicken salad is just 1 1/3 cup of quinoa, almonds, vinegar, olive oil, chicken, and grapes.
Sue said it's a very moist cake and it's delicious.
And I'm sure it is. I mean, I'm not trying to mock anybody's actual choices because I think everyone put in actual recipes they make that they're good. It just gets into that, like, what do people like? And I'm not a big fan of pineapple or bananas. And yeah, I'm not even sure if I liked them. I'm not even sure I'd like them together. I don't know. Pineapples and bananas together, is that a normal thing?
Not usually here, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good combo. But bananas have a weird texture for me. So I just, no, sorry. But yes, I see that Delbert is saying this is the Vintage Food Network. Yes, it is.
There you go.
Vintage Food Network in a box.
Some of them they were not written on who donated them or sent them in, so I'm assuming there was a reason. So I don't remember who actually donated the Chewies or wrote in the Chewies, but this was, again, perfect recipe. There's only 3 ingredients: Duncan Hines cake mix, any flavor, Cool Whip, and an egg. And you're done. So like, okay,
easy.
that works.
See, I can make that.
Yeah, that's not my fudge. If you
Yeah,
were not
oh,
watching,
man.
if you were not watching Katie's channel last night, she had her Jeopardy for her birthday. Again, happy birthday, Katie. But
Thank you, Patrick.
one of the what was the answer? It was, this is my favorite. What was it? My favorite crunchy food. What was the
crunchy snack? I think
what was my favorite crunchy snack? And I said Angela got bonus points because she said Patrick's fudge.
That wins the night.
Because she saw what my fudge looked like, and it was not pretty, and it was harmful to both the environment and one's health. It was
what happened to the caramel that was sitting around?
It's still in my fridge.
Oh no!
I'm afraid I might have to throw away the dish that it's in. Actually, entertain them for a minute. I will grab it.
So I told you, I think I've told this to many people, but my friend Frank, bless his heart, he just cannot cook very well. And one time he came to my apartment, he wanted to make his dad's it was a version of mac and cheese, but it had a name. And so I'm in the living room and Frank's in the kitchen, and all of a sudden I smell this like weird burning smell. And I'm like, what is going on? So I go in there, I'm like, Frank, is everything okay? Well, Frank, I'm not joking, put the noodles in the pot without any water and just let it be. And it was just cooking away with like tomato and everything else that Frank wanted to put in there. And he's like, well, I thought they would just cook with the slight juice of the tomato. And literally it had burned so badly that the pot had attached itself to my burner. I have one of those coil burners. So we had to go outside with a hammer and whack the burner part off and throw the pot away because it was a black mass in the bottom.
I remember, I see we all have our own little cooking stories. I remember I'm old enough to have, back in the day, had taken home ec. So, anyone who took home ec, we're all showing our age, but I don't think that happens anymore. And it was a lot. It was actually kind of a weird story. I ended up transferring into the class. It had already been going for like a week by the time this happened. And so I kind of showed up in the middle of a project that they were working on, and it included making grilled cheese. Okay. Seems like a very simple concept, but they gave me the crash course. Well, you need to butter the bread, you need to do this. Well, it did never cross my mind that you're supposed to butter the bread and then put the buttered side down. I put the butter on top and then put the bottom. So I burned it, and they're like, "What, did you butter it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right there on top. It all melted." So are you an idiot? Like, I guess so. So speaking of idiot, there it is. It actually appears to be more fudge-like. It has solidified significantly. I am not eating it this time because I'm not exactly sure what that film is that is formed on the top.
That's so bad.
So I do want the dish back. So
I don't know how you're
gonna have to probably soak it. But I mean, part of it's not my fault. I wasn't home. I made it literally the day before I left for a trip for 2 weeks. And so it was sitting in the refrigerator that whole time. And then when I came back, I was kind of scared of it. So it's just been sitting there. I'm avoiding it.
I think you'll need a whole lot of barkeeper's friend to get that out of there.
Yeah, we should. I have many things for cleaning my vintage items, so we'll see what it ends up turning into. And you're right, it hasn't grown fur yet. It is basically everyone is trying to give me the chemical reasons why I screwed up. Let's just start. I screwed up because I tried to cook. So that's like step one. Don't do that. What is ironic about the entire thing is because people were explaining to me, if you didn't see my video on it, I did actually capture this live. And in the video, I inadvertently captured it live of changing from the liquid form to its crystallized sugar form. And that was where everything went badly. And they're all like, oh, no, it happens at certain temperatures. And if you cook it too quickly or whatever. And I'm like, okay, people, I actually have a degree in chemistry. That is what my college degree is in. I had no idea what these people were talking about. I saw nothing wrong with trying to use an egg beater to try and whisk fudge. I saw no issue with that whatsoever. People thought I clearly needed to be in an institution. But hey, you live and learn. And I learned that I will probably never make fudge again. So.
Well, that's like me with baking. Anytime I go to bake, it burns, except for the Scotch Brite cookies. That I can do because it's easy.
And amen, Delbert. I will just say I just
Yes.
completed my first month of DoorDash where I got delivery for free. I could not have picked a better month to turn that on because I traveled so much in October. I had to change my address every time I placed an order. Because, like, if you've never done this, and most of the people do it for their home, you probably would have no idea. The app will remember where you are. So I would be in, St. Louis, but the last time I had it shipped to me, I was in Wichita. It would literally say, you seem far away from here. Do you need to change your delivery address? I'm like, yeah. So they kept me honest. But I did an entire month where I did not have to pay for delivery, and it was quite a wonderful thing.
That's fabulous.
So Sammy's giving me some good words of advice if you just put it in warm water. And that's what I anticipate. I'll probably let it get back to room temperature a little bit. It is just baked. It's just sugar that was cooled in the dish. It wasn't even baked in it. So I anticipate it should come out. So yes.
You also might be able to like heat it back up in the oven.
Oh no, see that's where it like tried to explode the last time. Like we don't need to involve heat again.
Maybe not.
Okay, what Lucinda's just showing off. I've never had a bad cooking experience. Okay, yeah, you crossed those fingers.
Oh, I've had quite a few in my day.
Okay, my personal favorite, this actually probably is going to climb into at least the top 5, but my personal favorite experience, and I'm of the age now, I just don't care. So I will share all these horrible experiences to make others feel better about themselves. So when I was growing up, I do not believe we ever had rice in our house. We just didn't do it. We grew up in the Midwest. We did not have Chinese takeaway. If we went for Chinese, we'd go to a restaurant, and we never made Chinese or anything rice-based in home. So I never had rice. I'd had it, but I'd never cooked rice. Let's put it that way, particularly from scratch. So I'm in my first apartment in college. So let's say I had my first apartment when I was a junior. So what that puts you at like 19, 20. So the first time I'm trying to make rice. I'm having people over, doing the whole like, hey, I've got my own apartment. Let's have people over. And actually, I don't think she's in the chat, but Kitschy and Bitchy, who's been on my channel before, she was one of them. I invited all these people over, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make rice. I don't remember what meal I made, but I remember that I was going to have rice with it. So I go to the grocery store, get the bag, like the big old bag of rice, generic, because I was not going to afford. Take it home, reading the recipe. It's like 1 cup of rice for 2 cups. I think it's 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water.
Oh yeah,
something like that. So I do a cup of rice, and I'm like, well, that's not enough. It's like 1 cup of rice is supposed to feed like 2 or 3 people, and I was having 6 people over. And I'm like, well, that's not enough. I'm like, well, I need like 1 of these per person. So I had 6 cups of rice and then 12 cups of water. Now, what should have been my tip was I put it in a pot that I thought was big enough. The water was too much, so I had to transfer it to a bigger pot. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of water. So I had 12 cups of water with 6 cups of rice. And then I just made this voluminous amount of rice. And we were just shoveling it into a garbage bag at the end of the dinner. It's like it was all turned out just fine. But there was a lot of it because I had no concept that rice grew.
So. The worst thing I did was with couscous. I made it, and then they have a weird, like, the bottle I got had a weird, like, direction on it. So it was like, instead of your regular, like, 1 cup to, whatever ratio, it was like half cup and then like 1/4 teaspoon of water or something. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I'm trying to figure it out. And I don't do couscous that often. I'm used to the box stuff. So I was like, I thought I was fancy with this whole little container thing. Well, I put all the couscous in and the water, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like a lot of water. But, I'm sure like rice, it will expand and be fine. Nope. it was not fine because once it was done cooking, there was all this couscous floating around, hard as a brick, in this water. That was like all this water. So it was like just swimming around like fish in a fish tank, and I just had to throw it away.
Okay, Jennifer, judging you. How can you?
It's hard when you get the container thing and not the little what is it, West something brand couscous in a box. I don't know what it's called. Let me just do the box.
Well, very few people have ever witnessed the inside of my pantry, refrigerator, or freezer for very good reason. I would be judged mercilessly for what I keep in in all of those items. The packets of rice, absolutely live off of those. Could not do without. My daughter grew up telling people we never cook. Like, that's not true. We just, like, she had a friend whose mother was Italian that would like hand make noodles.
Oh,
okay, yeah, bite me. That's not happening in this house. Like, there's perfectly good, even fresh pasta at the grocery store. There's no reason to anyone to make their own noodles. Like, okay, I could see someone wanting to go through the trouble of making their own spaghetti sauce. I mean, I get that.
that's good.
I didn't do it, but I get it. But to actually make your own noodles is just absolutely showing off, as far as I'm concerned. Unless you have a Food Network show, there's no reason to have to make your own noodles. There's just certain things. There used to be, and Katie's too young, so we're gonna have to like call out to the audience here. There was a woman probably back in the 90s. She was on the Food Network, but like when the Food Network was still relatively new. And she literally, like, her thing was, okay, you need to add all these spices. Well, look, here is a packet of like dry Italian dressing. Use this because it has your oregano and your Parmesan. It has all these things in it. And that was her thing. And there was a name of her channel, and I was obsessed with her channel because it did not require you. I still have crap in my pantry for when Amelia needed to do things for school. I think I still have a jar of saffron that costs like $30. And we used like a half of a teaspoon.
Yeah,
I'm not throwing the rest of this puppy out because this was expensive. Sandra Lee, that was it. Sandra Lee. And she just, everything, like, she's made very good, semi-elaborate things, but she was totally practical about it. She's just like, her whole thing was to working parents, and, you want to do this, but you don't have time to bake a roast for 5 hours. So I think she did like slow cooking crock pot type stuff. I still have what do you call it? Not a one pot, instant pot. I have an instant pot that should be like easy to deal with, but like some of the recipes, like, oh, well, you only have to cook in the instant pot for 2 minutes. Like, yeah, no, you liar. You got to bring it up to pressure first, and that can take like
it takes a lot longer.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is not easy. Semi-home cooking. That's right. Semi-home cooking with Sandra Lee, my hero.
I got a rice cooker, and I thought that would be great, but then it leaks all over the counter. And it's hot because the steam comes out. So even with an oven mitt, it burns your hand off. My dislike for rice cookers is very strong.
Well, hilarious. The thing about Instant Pots is when I was first trying to get one, there's different versions of them because they've been out for a while, so they've improved them, and sometimes the older ones are a little bit less expensive because they've been replaced by newer versions. And their thing is they'll say like right on the side replaces 7 household items or replaces 9, and I'm like, how on earth is this replacing anything? And it's listing things like it replaces your yogurt maker.
Okay. Who has
a yogurt maker? That's insane. Replaces the rice cooker. Like, okay, that I kind of get, but yeah. So I do like it. I do like the stuff that I've cooked in it, but I've also had the problem with a lot of the recipes where it starts to cook, it gets up to pressure, it starts cooking, and then all of a sudden it's like burn notice, and then it turns itself off, sets off turns off all the pressure. So then even if you put more liquid or you do whatever you need to do to keep it from burning, well, now you've completely screwed up the cooking time because now it's got to go back up to pressure. And it's just like some of them are just not. Oh, I've never heard of a Ninja Foodie.
Oh, the
unless
ninja,
you have a little private person that lives in your pantry.
My dad has a Ninja. They have like a food processor and a blender all in one. It has all these.
Oh, I have heard of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Trick to good rice is rinsing with cold water before cooking. Or you just squish up that little microwave bag really well so it all is a great start.
I grew up with the instant rice. Mom always got those 1-minute bags and would put them in the microwave, and they were pretty good.
Oh, so they're talking. So their Ninja is a air fryer. I've heard of those.
Yeah, I've heard of air fryers too. Now I am more interested in those.
Yeah, I saw at one point. So somebody said an air fryer is like a toaster oven, but like, is it a pressure cooker like an Instant Pot, or like what does an air fryer do?
I mean, as far as the stuff I've seen people making is they like make chips. They can flash fry Brussels sprouts. Like you can put anything in there and it gets crispy. But I've also seen people try to put like chicken in an air fryer. So I don't really know like what all it does.
Okay, and I will say, Kara, that is actually, now that you say that, that's basically the microwave stuff I do use, but I tended to use boil and bag rice.
Yes,
which I guess technically is, I don't know if that's considered instant, but it's not like real rice. I remember my daughter dropped her phone in the snow, and we're like, "Oh, we're supposed to like put it in rice so that all the moisture gets out of it," and all we had was the boil and bag rice. Like, this doesn't appear to be doing anything.
So, who knows what's in it?
A forced air convection. Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
So it does toaster oven stuff, but also fries without oil. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't have the oil in it.
All right. And Carrie's a box looker, so we're good. I totally commit to that. Okay, so Jamie's is like a toaster oven. Like, I didn't think they were toaster ovens, and then I saw somebody writing or talking about one, and they actually referred to it as a toaster oven. I just remember, again, from my days of camping, because yes, I did used to camp. We had a toaster oven in the camper. And to me, like, I'm sure toaster ovens have changed since the 70s, but like, to me, it was just, there's a little drawer, like a door on the front that came down. It was just like a little metal tray, or not even a tray, like the mesh, bars or whatever. So you could make more than toast, but not really. It was really just like a little tiny oven. But I never would have considered that an air fryer. But those were definitely not convection. Okay.
Well, they make them now. But you can put.
Cheryl Ross does not own a microwave.
How do you not own a microwave? Oh, I couldn't live without that.
I love watching House Hunters and House Hunter Internationals just for like one of those things. And invariably, the House Hunter Internationals, their budgets are ridiculously small, and they're in these cities where the apartments are, to save that much, you have to be in this tiny apartment. Many of them are not a fully equipped kitchen. And I've mentally thought, okay, what could I live without? Microwave is not one of them.
No, I gotta have a microwave.
I need a refrigerator and I need a microwave. I might be able to live without an oven. Not sure if I didn't have an oven, if I could live without a stove top. Like, I think
I would need a stove top, a fridge, and a microwave. Yeah, well, and a sink. I mean, so I don't know how you can't not have a fully equipped kitchen. But see, I'm bad with my tea. I have one of those tea kettles, and I should boil the water and do the whole thing. I don't. I just put water from the sink in the mug with the tea bag and put it in the microwave for a minute. I'm very lazy.
So Dawn is using her air fryer every day. So what kind of stuff are you making in yours? Dog treats? Or are you making stuff for yourself, Dawn?
Yeah, I'd be curious to find out.
She's afraid of her air fryer. I can relate to that one too. Okay, some people remember the old toaster ovens. Peterson says she used a microwave for many years either. No, I literally do not think I can live without a microwave.
I use microwave for everything. Now, my dad got a more fancy toaster oven since he's big into cooking, and Thanksgiving comes and they always have a big fight over the oven times. So he got one of these toaster ovens that also does, like, you can set it to almost like an oven temperature. So it's like a mini oven, and he can put all kinds of things inside of it. Now, I don't think it will hold like a giant casserole dish, but it will cook other things.
So Nate's got the idea, for like, grown-ups. So he uses a microwave all the time, but as a tool. Now, admittedly, I need my microwave because some entire meals come out of my microwave. But, for thawing meat, for things that like boiling water quickly, I would still think a microwave would be, but it is a convenience. I can't remember. I had to take my car in to get worked on, and the woman was complaining because she had come out to the car. She literally had like this big iPad thing that, another thing that plugged into the, the thing underneath the I'm so technical, the thing underneath the, the steering
Like
column.
I know anything about
Yeah,
cars.
she had her iPhone and then I think something else. So she's like carrying all this stuff out and she's griping about it. She's like, can you believe it? I have to carry all of this stuff. They can't simplify this and try and put it all into one thing. I'm like, well, 20 years ago, you've been doing this all with like mimeograph. So count your blessings. So sometimes you have to kind of look back and remember there were days. Now, I will say we got our first microwave in the 70s. It was like the size of a Volkswagen and like took 10 minutes to cook a thing of popcorn. But they did exist really early on. So like I don't have a lot of memories without a microwave, but they didn't used to be as powerful. So they've been around, but they kind of use them as tools, figuring out.
My mom and my grandpa got my grandmother one for Christmas in the late 60s. And grandma was, there's all this technology coming out about microwaves and articles. And grandma was kind of afraid, what about the radiation? So she wouldn't use it for a while. And then grandpa finally convinced her to use it. And of course, she's been microwave lover ever since.
Well, back then, I mean, it probably was a realistic concern. Like we were told, don't stand in front of the microwave because it because it probably was because the door was hardly anything. Now Brenda is saying she likes her electric kettle. Now I have never had one, but my daughter, because she had lived in Germany a few times during high school and then again in college, she grew obsessed with her electric kettle. And she found a loophole when she was at the dorm here in the States that was not outlawed. Like you couldn't have a hot plate, you couldn't have a microwave, you couldn't have like a bunch of different things, but it never said you could not have an electric kettle. So she had her electric kettle, little rule pusher that she was. And I'm like, I don't like, we have a Keurig, and my Keurig is the one that has the big water reservoir on it. So you don't have to refill it every time. And so it's like, to me, the Keurig makes the water so quickly. I don't know why you would need it, but she's like, she'd make her ramen. She would do all kinds of stuff with her electric kettle. She could not live without hers.
Now, see, I love my Nespresso, and mine has the big water container on the back too. Mm-hmm. And I love the little pods, but of course it's not like a Keurig. So you can't use anything that's not Nespresso in it. Like Keurig, the nice thing about them is they brand with other companies. So like you can get hot chocolate and tea but the thing with Keurig is, see, I'm a little bit of a coffee snob and I have to have extra strong coffee. And I've just not found that Keurig does it because they don't have espresso. So I have to have my Nespresso in the morning.
Gotcha. I actually do not drink coffee. So I like it for the hot chocolate and the tea. And I love the apple cider. Like this is the great.
That's good.
The apple ciders they have are fantastic. Okay, so Dawn's verdict has come back. So she is using it every day to make Brussels sprouts. Excuse me while I hurl right here. Brussels sprouts with bacon and maple syrup. Oh, so use it to reheat things. Okay.
Oh, now that's clever, Dawn.
Now, why would you, like, I'm actually legitimately curious about this. Is it, like, why would you you specifically said reheat pizza. Is it because then it stays crisper than if you tried to reheat it in the microwave? I guess.
I wonder if it does better with the crust. It probably does.
Probably. Wouldn't be as soggy. Homemade chicken tenders. Okay, now you're just showing off. Chicken wings. It has a proofing cycle, so it could be used for baking bread. Okay, I can buy a loaf of bread for like $2. There is no way I could make a loaf of bread for less than I could buy some, so I'm good.
I love Brussels
Judy said
sprouts.
the same thing, heating up leftovers. And so Nate's loving the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I do too.
Maple. Who knows?
They have to be really roasted, though. You can't have Brussels sprouts that have just been boiled in a pot of water because I'm sorry, that has no flavor.
Delbert and I are clearly separated at birth. I was watching. I think it was a reel. I think I'm not on TikTok, so I think it was a reel. Something that came across Instagram, and it was some sort of, I don't even know whose channel it was. It was just something. It was like a POV of a. Well, I don't know if it was necessarily a wok, but it was a very wide bowl, like stovetop bowl, pan, whatever. They put oil in it. They poured, like, I think they threw a Hershey's chocolate bar in there and then poured the loose popcorn kernels in it and then covered it and then made this popcorn. And I suddenly had this flashback of what life was like before microwave popcorn. I can't say I've had popcorn other than like in a movie theater. I can't say I've had popcorn that hasn't been microwaved probably since my childhood. Like even in a hot air popper, like I maybe had one of those. We might have gotten one as a wedding gift, so maybe I did have like a hot air popper. But microwave popcorn is just so simple.
Well, my dad is very big on cooking popcorn on the old-fashioned way on the stove, and he's all into the white kernels, which I have to say are the best. Don't get the yellow ones. And I've been doing that ever since. So Dad, growing up, we'd have movie nights, and he would make popcorn, and he would get butter melted on the stove, and it was just so good. So I do have microwave popcorn in a pinch, but I do like that stove popcorn.
Okay, Nate, again, just showing off. He's long gone. He had to go make dinner, but he did answer. Souffles and creamy leeks. Okay, I do not think I've ever had a leek. And this is like how weird my mind works. There was a show probably in the 90s, maybe the 80s, and it involved Princess Anne. It was some sort of a fundraiser. People help me out here. It was some sort of a fundraiser. It was in England, and it was a lot of the lesser royals were participating, and they had to do like all these challenges and obstacle courses and whatever. And at one point, they were dressed as giant leeks, and I'm like, "What the hell is a leek?"
Isn't that an onion?
It's like it looks like celery. I don't think it's more leafy than celery. But we'll have to ask Nate what he does.
I think it's part onion. I don't. Oh, large scallion.
Large
scallion. Isn't that part of the onion family though? I don't know. I could be wrong.
Scallions are part of the onion family. It was just one of those like, okay, this is just the weirdest show ever. Jan agrees. Like, what's a leek? So okay, Jan and I may be about the same age. So I've stumbled across something that at least let me know that a leek existed, but I can't say I've ever had one. And
most of my I didn't know.
Most of my vegetable knowledge comes from Veggie Tales, and sometimes it's hard to like imagine eating some of the veggies. So that would be why I explained to my daughter why I didn't eat vegetables, because I didn't want to eat Bob the tomato or Larry the cucumber because that would be sacrilegious. So no worries, Sandra. Thanks for joining.
Yes, if you want to waltz with tomatoes.
Yes. So okay, what is a popcorn maker? Is that an air popper or is that something else?
Well, they do have the popcorn maker things that are like countertop, and it's like a miniature version of what they have at the movie theater, and you put your popcorn in the top little swing bucket thing, and then it pops. But I've also seen recently, I think this has been all over Instagram, but those little popcorn, they look like a little tea kettle. It says popcorn on the front. It's red, and then there's little holes, and you put like the kernels on the top or inside. I don't know if the kernels go on the top or on the inside, but you put it in the microwave, and like in a minute, you have perfect popcorn, apparently.
Okay, so you use regular popcorn kernels, but you still weren't making the okay. Lucinda's, she's still a stovetop girl. Brenda's still a stovetop girl. It's just one of those. Again, once I discovered microwave, I'm not much of a popcorn snob, to be honest. That like I'll eat just about anything you put in front of me, so it doesn't really matter. I've had like even the microwave, they make the white popcorn. They do different things. I will admit, I tend to like the sprinkle stuff on top.
That's good.
White cheddar is very yummy. So Jiffy Pop, I remember from my days camping. So the one with the long metal handle with the aluminum like pie tin covered in aluminum foil, and then it popped up. But we only ever did it camping. Like that was not something we ever did at home. I don't know necessarily why.
My mom would buy those, and I thought as a kid it was so magical. Of course, the popcorn doesn't taste that great from those.
I agree. And particularly over the fire, you would tend to burn it because you didn't necessarily know exactly what was going on in there. So.
Yeah, I like the garlic parm sprinkle on top, Angela. That's good too.
Yeah. Yeah, white. I have at one point. I don't think I've seen it lately. Years ago, I can't remember the name of the company, but they made these little. They were probably like 2 or 3 inches tall, but you could buy. It was at Christmas time. You could buy a set, and it was like 5 different flavors of the popcorn topping, so you could like try them out. And that to me, that's I love that. If you go to a barbecue place and they give you like all the different types of barbecue sauce, you go, do whiskey flights, wine flights, beer flights, like all that. That is my jam. Like, give me little bits of multiples so I can test, because I hate going to like even something like Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, here's a list of 35 barbecue sauces.
But you don't know what they taste
Yeah,
like.
what do you want to put on your chicken? Like, but I want to eat it, so I don't want it to be something disgusting. And so, you tend not to experiment.
And speaking of food, I have something fun coming up.
Oh.
Nate and I are going to do a joint cooking video coming very soon. So Nate is going to walk me through one of his famous recipes. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. This has really just kind of turned into a chat, but I wanted this to be a DuoDive specifically for the Doxies. So I'm going to go back to myself full screen because I'm showing a few things behind me. I'm going to do like a crash course. We've already been chatting for an hour, but showcase some of the things that if you are here and you're not familiar with the fundraiser that I'm doing, it's the live portion of it is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, this channel. You will be able to see a number of these items behind me will go live during that sale. I have videos that have showcased some of these things. Some of them, though, have never been shown. This has gotten the Katie stamp of approval because she already owns it.
I do. I have this one.
Somebody donated this to me in a box of something, and I wanted to see if Katie wanted it. She already had one, so she gave me the suggested selling price, and I will sell a vintage typewriter tin, which is what that's how Katie and I, for our first project together, was doing one of our first deep dives, and that was Katie doing her typewriter tins. And I think at that point, you've got 2,000 subscribers now. I think at that point, you only had like 100 or 200. You were just
I think so. I remember that day. I looked onto YouTube and I saw a message from someone I didn't know, Trusty Huckster Mercantile. And he said, "Oh my gosh, these are so fascinating. Would you come on my show?" And I was like, "Well, sure." And it just became a fast friendship ever since then.
Absolutely. So that one, again, Katie always gets first dibs at my typewriter ribbon tin. So that one is passed. It's still got value. It's just she already has one, so she doesn't need another. These I think, showed in one of my videos, but I'll show them here because what I'm doing, these are vintage dog licenses, dog tax. So one of them is from 1929 and the other one is from 1967. I actually will sell this as a pair, and I have 2 pairs of that.
That's interesting that they're not rabies license. I guess that came later on.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. That's probably more common. These were in the batch of items that were donated by Michelle Decker. So I also ran these by Nate. He has approved my selling them, and he has also given me the price at which I will sell them at. So those will be available. I know Nate went to grab dinner, but this I pulled aside. I am 100% guilty of starting Nate's obsession with German Nachtgeld. And because I had purchased some and I've been reselling it. This is one that I had pulled aside because it's the only one with a dog on it. So I will actually end up selling this piece of German Nachtgeld at the sale tomorrow night. You can see it's dated 1921. My daughter helped me do a little bit more research on these, and it turns out that what these were, they're still related to the hyperinflation currency that started a little bit later, but this was only 25 pfennig, and that's like 25 cents. Like it's not even a full dollar. And I couldn't figure out why, like if it's hyperinflation, what could you buy for 25 pfennig? Well, it turns out that right after the war, so 1922, there was a metal shortage. And so they were issuing paper versions of their coinage. So that's actually what actually explains some of these. So these would have been issued, and after October 1st, 1921, you should have been able to turn this in to actually get the coin equivalent of it because they thought they would have metal by then. So it's a little bit different.
Why they have an anvil on the front.
Yeah, all of them had different versions. My daughter tried to help me translate what was on this one, but she said it's actually a dialect from the Buxtehude region of Germany, which is outside Bavaria. She's like, it's a dialect, and she could not figure it out because it doesn't help that it seems to just like stretch behind the image. So she's like, are letters missing? Are those natural breaks, or did they just, she just couldn't figure it out? But I agree, Jan. It's just a really cool graphic. And be honest, the only reason it got pulled specifically for the sales because basically anytime I came across something with a dog, pretty good chances it was going to get saved for the fundraiser.
And you can see your Dachshund hat really well now.
Yeah. These were donated by Brian Hantz in Chicagoland area. It's an entire bag of dog-shaped and dog-related cookie cutters. So you've got a bone. They're not all necessarily old, but some of them definitely are. So you've got a larger version.
That one's got some age.
Yeah, so we've definitely got some rusty, crusty, and dusty going on. Got a Scotty dog. So I think he said he picked these up from someone who used to be a baker. And so they used to make dog-shaped cookies. And so this is that collection. So these
that is fantastic.
So these will get sold just at a flat price. Because again, everything during the live sale will just be a fixed price. There won't be any auctions or anything on that. This I found. This was also donated by Michelle Decker, and I'd forgotten about it. It actually still has its original foil label on it. The Westmoreland Glass Milk Glass Owl. So I don't know if Carrie's still here, but get your Carrie's got fast internet. So this will be part of the live sale tomorrow night.
Carrie, you need that little owl for your collection.
And actually, anything that's not part of the auction are all available for sale before then. So if I don't have to once I make a tag, I'm going to have to sell it. But if you want to buy anything that you see tonight, you are welcome to purchase in advance because I have more than I'm going to be able to sell tomorrow night. This is going to get stretched out for the next several weeks. Carrie's claiming mine. So, okay. So email me, Carrie, and if we can work out a price, I know what they're selling for and what they have sold for on eBay. But if you make me an offer, I'm sure we can work something out. These have not seen the light of day to my knowledge. So I want to showcase some of the stuff that I hadn't shown before. This is going to be sold as a lot. So if anybody likes Scotty dogs. So first we've got Scotty. I'm going to say they're Barrettes.
I think they're Barrettes, yes.
And I'm going to also say they're children's Barrettes because they're very small. Like I don't think these are going to hold much hair.
No, they would have to be for a little kid, I think. But they're darling. They're little follows.
Yep, they're little follows. So this entire lot is Scotty dogs. And I just realized when I held that into the light that says something. So hold on. Let me see if I can magnify this and see if it says anything important. Made in USA. Company is Tilco. Tilco, it looks like. Can't say
I don't think I've ever heard of that brand.
No. So I'm assuming it's probably either the plastic manufacturer that molded it, or it's molded into the back. It's not engraved or anything. And they're mirror images of each other, which I thought was kind of cool because they're barrettes. So when you put them in your hair, the dog is walking forward as you're walking.
Oh, that's very clever.
And I would agree, Jan, that I would say these are probably 50s. Maybe earlier Fala was a big deal, but I just don't know my plastics. I don't know my manufacturing techniques.
That looks 50s to me, but I don't know. But, just putting those in a printer's tray or a junk jar if you didn't want to wear them is great.
So like I said, this is all part of a lot. So it's kind of like the Scotty jewelry lot. So we've got the barrettes. We then have a brooch. # bring back the brooch.
Oh, look at those guys.
You got this gold tone, super shiny gold tone pair of Falas. I believe I'd already looked under a microscope on this one. Or a loop. I don't think this one is signed. And I keep learning from Katie, this one does not have a riveted back. So if it's not riveted, that makes it later, right, Katie?
Yeah, typically, unless it's they do some rivets that are a little bit more modern, but you can always tell the clasps are just newer. So I would say that's probably like 80s, 90s, maybe.
All right, is Jerry making fun of the way I say barrettes?
I think several people were confused on your.
Okay, well, how do you say them? What do you call
them? I say barrettes.
Barrettes.
But I also say a lot of things very strangely. So
All right,
apparently
Angela, you're my backyard. How do you say it?
I say museum weird to
Yeah,
a
you
lot
do.
of people. So there we go.
We'll just put that to rest. Yes, you do. But that's okay. So I'm waiting for Angela to weigh in on, she's already making fun of me slipping and saying microscope, clear, but I didn't mean to. But barrette is what I always say. So anyway, so we've got the pair of dog hair things, and let's see, the pair of Fala gold tone. What would you think, age wise? What would you think that one probably
I
is?
would probably say 80s or 90s for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think these are perfect. I didn't think those are perfectly old hair
Angela
things.
says
That
that you
works.
say it the same way.
I'm sorry.
She says that she agrees.
There
with
you go, Angela. You get my back. We're the Midwesterners. And then we've got a beautiful stick pin that I do think has some age on this
Yeah,
one.
I do too. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it might have been
made.
reattached at some point. I'm not sure if that dark amber colored glue is original, but I do think there's some age to this one.
Oh, Carrie says she says it the same way. So you got
Yay.
two people that are in the same boat.
Because how did you say it, Katie?
I say barrettes.
Barrettes. Okay.
But that may just be a Southern thing. It's like tomato. We all say things differently.
All right. So Sammy, I think, is messing with me because we all know I cannot identify Bakelite. So, okay, first let me rub the dog.
Yeah, rub and sniff.
I smell cheese.
Not formaldehyde.
No, because I think I had a piece of cheese earlier. So I think I would say no. And I don't think Bakelite would be molded like that, would it, with the name of the company in the back? I don't think Bakelite does that.
I've never seen Bakelite that way. And
Brian is still here. Yes, most of the cookie cutters are copper. The older ones though are not. So the older ones, there's definitely some age to some of the older ones that are not copper. But the copper ones, like one of them still has the hang tag on it, so you could still use it. So anyway,
I don't think Bakelite would have a molded name in it.
No, I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
And I have seen Bakelite like in old jewelry, like white kind of turns yellow. Like I've seen that type, and this does not remind me of Bakelite at all. And it also has a texture on it, and I think there's more of a texture than Bakelite would typically get. I definitely agree, Lucinda. It's older plastic, but I don't think it's Bakelite. So anyway, so those three I'd never shown those. These were, damn. I do think somebody donated at least one of these. I picked up, I think, one or two of them. I mean, I can't even keep track of what I've donated. So I need to do better bookkeeping for that. Okay.
It's
this
hard
actually
when you get so many things, It's just
exactly. In particular, I've been receiving them for months, and it's the stuff that's older that got kind of put into, like I had multiple boxes and milk crates and tins and stuff. I did start separating which ones were dog related versus non-dog related because I wanted to kind of keep that track. At some point I get something and I just drop it into one of the buckets and then it like falls to the bottom and I forget. So, all right. So this actually is something I needed to show because I thought this actually was in the video I just posted. So I'm not even going to give any backdrop. I am just going to show this. What is it? I did not include this on my Name That Breed video because I thought I knew what it was. And I was like 95 to 99% certain I knew what it was. Two separate people have come back to me saying I'm wrong. And that's totally fine. I mean, if I'm wrong, I definitely want to know. But what is it?
I would say that's a Mastiff.
I say this with love. Bite me. But okay.
But I could be wrong. I mean,
Dana's Mastiff. Great Dane, which I 100%. Okay, Cheryl, how did you know it was a Picard plate? Did you watch my video? Because I did not show the back. You are 100% correct. It is a Picard plate, but I said it was a Great Dane, and I was 100% confident it was a Great Dane. But two people came back. One said it was a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and another came back and said it was a Mastiff. We've got Carrie's got a Mastiff. Cam's a Great Dane. Delbert's very helpful. Kelly is saying Great Dane. Sorry, Kelly, I didn't see you come in. Hi, Kelly. Peterson's on the Dane. Suzu's on the Dane. Well, thank you, Brenda, for that non-decision. 3 cute doggies. I'm good with that too. Giant dog with giant legs.
Yeah, the proportion is interesting of the 3 dogs.
Dawn is drunk because that's not a word. Dane. Oh, see, now that I don't know. Do Dane? Oh, you're right. Danes do have pointy ears.
Yeah, they do. But maybe they didn't get their ears cropped or
right.
clipped.
Certain states don't allow any dogs to get their ears pierced. Ears. Okay, make fun of me, Angela. Ears cropped. The problem with the Picard stamp is they use this stamp for like literally 65 years. So there's nothing in this date stamp that indicates how old this is. Because if it's older, then I think all Danes would have had their ears cropped. But if it's more recent, it could be reflective of that. All right, so we've got a hint. Does it have a dark stripe down the back? Then it could be a Ridgeback. Okay, well.
Oh, okay. I have to look up what a Ridgeback is.
There looks like there's maybe a shadow on the one that's actually showing the profile. There's like a darkness there, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a stripe. And it's certainly not, I don't think it's a pronounced ridge, which if I remember correctly, I did know what a Ridgeback was. I think that actually like right down its spine is actually like kind of from like if you looked at it from the front or from the rear, it actually kind of comes up a little bit like a speed bump.
Okay.
I don't see that. So Cheryl is saying it's a Mastiff because of the ears. All right, now Dana, this is when I love because people like they just double down, and then other people are like, nope. So Dana is saying definitely not a Rhodesian Ridgeback, which means somebody else is going to come in and say definitely it is a Rhodesian Ridgeback. So yeah, Peterson is agreeing with me that ridge normally is raised, but from this view, like maybe that is what it looks like.
But
so
it could be shadowing, highlighting.
Mastiffs, I thought like this is stupid. Mastiffs are huge. But I thought they had shorter legs. I thought their body took up more of their frame. This to me is a very sleek looking dog. And I don't think Mastiffs are that sleek.
That's true. This
and
one
there you go.
So
Vintage Vino saying the same thing. It doesn't look muscular enough to be a Mastiff. You know, like the leg, like probably height wise, it would probably be that tall. It's got more of a barrel chest.
So then, yeah, maybe it is a Great Dane. I could see Great Dane in the face, too.
Now, I mean, until somebody said about the ears, admittedly, I did not think of the ears. But when I saw that dog on profile, that's Dane. That is what's the cartoon Dane? What's the cartoon Dane? Not Clifford, but Marmaduke. That's Marmaduke.
Yeah, he does look like Marmaduke. I don't know if Google
carries off in her own little Star Trek world. Different Picard. I think it's too big to be a boxer. Jan is also questioning the chunkier aspect that Mastiffs would be a little bit bigger. Dawn, ever so helpful, not a Dachshund. So yeah, so Cheryl's saying a Dane. All right. Well, we're going to let Katie entertain you for a little while because I'm going to actually look it up.
It could be anything. Now, I will show you, speaking of dogs, I have a little Dachshund pin on in honor of the Just One More Dachshund Rescue. And this is a fun little Dachshund pin because it's actually a Boucher brooch. And if you know anything about Boucher, you know that they are a fabulous maker of brooches. I have a Boucher poodle and they can command quite a high price tag. So I was very excited to get this little guy and have him for the Just One More Dachshund Rescue. He is fabulous. Now, what's interesting about him, and I'll take him off here, I don't know. I've never seen a Boucher brooch actually with 3 marks on the back. So this one is interesting. Now, Boucher made a lot of gold tone brooches, and they are really well known for their texture. So you can see how texturized this little guy is. He's just fabulous. Now, on the back here, he's marked Boucher, and it kind of looks like Boucher, but it is actually pronounced Boucher, and I believe it was founded by Michael Boucher. I have to look that up again. But it has an interesting little mark on the back because it says Boucher, and then it says Dachshund, and I've never seen that because the poodle one I have does not have the word poodle on the bottom. So I'm wondering if they did a series of these. Now there's also a mark on this that says S167B. Never seen that. I do know that Boucher brooches, as far as I know, were not faked. So I don't believe that this is a fake. It's got the detail, the texture, the weight, the quality. It's just an interesting piece. And he's got little eyes. Now, I think his eyes are black. He's got little black eyes, and he is just darling. So he is fabulous. No, Carrie, not Bobby Boucher. But he is fabulous. I just love him. And I'm glad that I got him for the rescue. And you know what? I need to find a pug brooch. Someone sent me a pug brooch, a pug pin, like a little tie tack. But I wonder if any of the companies that I have, like Boucher or Trifari, I wonder if they've ever done a pug. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I love the little Dachshund guy. He's fun, and he is awesome. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see.
So this is Rhodesian Ridgeback. And I would say instantaneously that is not the plate that I was showing.
No, very different.
But this is.
Yeah, that's Marmaduke.
So to me, that's the Great Dane. Now, I will say, this, I think these are the standards. So this is part of the AKC. So this is showing the cropped ears. But there are others that are showing the non-cropped ears.
And I definitely could see that being a Dane, especially with
this one's even the same color.
Yeah, the color is right on.
Yeah, so I think this is going to stay in the books as a Dane.
Yep, I think so. Yep,
so, okay.
You just can't deny it.
I think this is the only Great Dane item I have. So there is some significance to that because I'm trying to make lots where I can. So even little lots, during the Name That Breed, we determined that this is a foxhound, and we also determined that this is a foxhound. So I'm going to sell them together.
That is great.
I'm going to merge the things that I can. I'm going to put the pointer with the English setter and the pointer along with these. I got all these little package toppers from Brian Hance when he gave me the cookie cutters, and I've been doing them just as gifts for people that made purchases. But for the dogs that are recognizable, they're like little. I think they would have been in a kid's picture book or something like that. So this will just also be like a little lot of hunting dogs. So you'll have the pointer with
great.
I think we determined this was an English setter with a pointer and then a pointer and then the pointer stamp. So that'll be like a little lot.
There were a lot of pointers that night when we were doing the Name That Breed that came up.
And there we go. That's my pointer. Sammy's asking if we had any Jack Russells. No. We had tons of terriers.
Yes,
I would have recognized a Jack Russell, and I do not believe I had any Jack Russells.
And you had a few pug things, didn't you, Patrick?
Did I?
Maybe I'm just imagining pug things.
And I think there was one. I think you're right. I think there was one pug thing because I wasn't sure if it was a pug. But I usually if I get pug things, I make sure you know about them first. So I don't remember. So some of them will end up becoming lots. Oh, I did actually. I'll give a quick tip. If you watched the video 2 nights ago, Sunday night, I did a video on brooches.
Yes, that was last.
That was the same. That was last night. That was the same one.
Yep.
Okay, so what I had done is I showcased all these different items that had been donated. It included a box of brooches from Michelle Decker, and in the thumbnail of the video, I did all of the brooches. What I ended up doing was I took all of the rhinestone brooches and put those together. Those will be going up on eBay as an auction item that will start tomorrow night. So
they are good.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to showcase those here, but there were 5 beautiful, all unsigned, unfortunately, but there were 5 absolutely gorgeous. There was a Borealis finish. There was pink. There's amber. There's some multicolored stones. Absolutely fantastic. But then these three kind of didn't fit the bill. So these I'm separating into a separate lot. So you've got this red, white, and blue sailing ship. You've got an elephant brooch, trunk up, unfortunately, but that's okay. And a teddy bear brooch. So these three will go up in their own lot and sell those. I will sell those as a group.
That would be a fun mix, Patrick. I like the different variety.
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's like an instant collection. Hashtag bring back the brooch. It's kind of a couple different varieties. You got an animal, the red, white, and blue. They're still stones. I don't know. I guess. I mean, Katie needs to weigh in on this one because we actually didn't talk about this one. The stones initially, I didn't think were translucent. I thought they were solid, but the blue actually does look like a glass. But I'm not sure about the red and the white
before. And I feel like that is a very 90s type of brooch.
Okay.
I mean, I remember going to functions with my mom for breast cancer and things, and people would make different things with those type of stones. They're nice because they all are prong set.
Yeah,
so
they're all prong set.
Great piece. I don't know what they're made out of. And look at the back, really nice, smooth back. That's extremely well made.
Yeah, so it kind of like you said, like it could be a 90s piece. It kind of has, it's either like a regatta type thing or it's the like Tommy Hilfiger, like the whole red, white,
I was
and blue.
Wondering if they're milk glass, but I'm not 100%.
And I don't know how to tell that when they're set because they're not, because it's a solid back. I can't really see light through them or anything. So that one I wasn't sure on.
And Lucinda's saying they can be older. She's thinking 50s on that, and I could be totally wrong.
I will say, all I can say is when I went looking for it, I never found this shape, but I found a lot of brooches that had this style, like where the stones kind of looked like they're the same, and they were marked anywhere from 40s, where like people were actually posting this as a World War like home front thing. I don't think it's I can't be that old, all the way up to contemporary. So I can't imagine they're still being made. So like I could see this as a 90s, but I could have seen it as a 50s, 60s thing too.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's
I could see Mrs. Maisel wearing this to one of her functions. I could totally see that.
Yeah, especially when she's going to entertain the troops. So I don't know. I mean, dating those things are so hard, especially if they're not marked.
I didn't know like with the clothes, because what did you call that? Flooding?
Puddling.
Puddling.
It has some very nice puddling on the back.
So I don't know when that was done.
Well, now look, the pin does extend past the clasp a little bit. It's not super long.
And it's already bent. So like if it weren't bent, it would actually it'd stick past even further.
Well, I might have to change my tune on that then. That might be older. You're right.
So Vintage and Vino, none of these are stamped. The entire lot, none of them were marked. And I think that's why they got donated. I mean, it's a fantastic donation, but none of them were marked. So unfortunately, I couldn't even swear what era. Now I will let me give you back to Katie for a second.
I will
grab them really quick because I took the photos. They will go live they will go live tomorrow. And this may or may not have any significance, but these all came together. So maybe they were all done around the same time, which maybe would make that a little bit older when you then compare to the other pins that are
that's got some age to it. I would say 50s for that. Look at the riveting on the back.
Yeah, so that one you taught me about the riveted back. So that one that's part of there's 5 that are in the lot tomorrow night. This one is the second one.
Lovely. Oh, see, and that's got an older Y back with the rivet. All of those are riveted on, which is amazing.
Now, this one is not riveted. They're still prong set.
Prong set. It has a Y back, but I wouldn't assume that to be as old as the others.
Okay. Then this one has a totally different back.
Ooh,
so beautiful. Beautiful finish to, Borealis finish to that one. But this back is completely different.
Yeah, now see, I don't know the age of something like that. I quite have never seen that back before. I'm quite sure I
so it's like
haven't.
it's still riveted, but they're two separate pieces.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it's like you can kind of see there's a texture to that back as well. And
now are all of those beaded on? Yeah, you can see they're all strung together. So that is quite an amazing feat.
So that one, and then the last one is my personal favorite.
Yeah, that one is just, oh, that's fabulous.
Just check that out. The dimensionality of that ribbon effect coming out from the top and then tucked into the bottom.
With the Aurora Borealis stones.
Yeah. And then that one. So that one does not have a riveted back.
That one's beautiful.
And I would say this one has some age to it, but it doesn't have a riveted back just because of the style.
And just because the riveted backs are older doesn't mean that they didn't put those on all brooches. Right. It's just one method of construction. And doing those things are so hard when you look at brooches. I really like the brooch companies that are, Trifari, where they marked certain things like KTF. That's a 1920s mark for Trifari. Like, I like those little small details because it's much easier to date pieces like that, when you have, or a company that maybe only made like Weiss, they only made brooches for a short time. It's hard with other pieces,
So Lucinda is saying she found an example on eBay, and they were saying it's a colored milk glass, which again, I found examples like that. The only thing I question is I don't think the blue is milk glass. The blue actually does have some depth to it. You can see the way it's reflecting.
Are they cold?
You people with your questions.
Every time. Okay, so then it's got to be maybe some type of glass.
But it's also like the metal could be what's cold.
Yeah, that could be.
Well, no, because the back of it's actually warm. Let's say I've never done this before. The front of it is significantly cooler than the back. But
well, I mean, you've got all three
colors. So would milk glass would do that too then, right?
Yeah, milk glass would definitely be.
And so I will say, because the color's coming across really weird, it's almost looking terracotta in my screen. It is red.
It looks red. It looks really red on my end.
Okay, I think it changes. But for mine, it's almost looking like a terracotta orange. It is red. So the red doesn't have nearly as much reflective power as the blue, and the white doesn't have any at all. So that might be milk glass.
And it could be 1960s, Lucinda. I mean, it's dating brooches are hard. I wish I had like a definitive thing to say, yeah, that's this. I don't.
And that's why that's why I put them up on eBay. I figure at this point I put the best pictures that I could, show them as close up as I could. I said they were unsigned, and I only claimed colors. I never said what they specifically were. People can decide, and it's unfortunate with a lot of 5. If they're all valuable, it might hurt the value because some people may only want the one and they don't want to pay $25 a brooch for the other 4 they don't want. So we'll see. I think I started the auction at, I want to say 25 or 30. I mean, I think I put it relatively low just to see where it would go. Because one of my goals on this, I want everything to sell for as much as it can because it is going to the fundraiser. But there's also the reality aspect that I need to sell it. Like, I can't just hold on to these things and wait for the right price, because at some point these items are legally not mine. I'm holding them, in trust for the fundraiser. So if they just stay in my Etsy store for months, I've got to keep track of it, and I've got to figure out like when they sell. I don't want to deal with that. So, hopefully things will get the value they deserve. In other cases, I will say there is, it's going to go up on, I'll show it. It's going to go up on auction tomorrow, because this is probably one of the most valuable items that was donated to me. It is a
Oh, that
bronze
is
star
amazing.
from Nordisk Malm, Denmark. And these pieces sell for pretty nice prices. This particular piece last sold in December for $140. I
Wow.
started the auction at 50. So, people, more than one wants it, it'll hopefully get up to where it needs to be. But I can't just hold on to it because I think, well, it's worth $140. So I need to hold on to it because that might have been a one-time thing that somebody needed it for a Christmas gift or whatever. And I may not see that price again. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was actually gifted to me. She gave a lot of stuff for the fundraiser, but this was tagged specifically for me because she thought it would look good with my collection. She was 100% correct. However, I do not need to add more collections to my
Yeah.
collections. So, and because it's so valuable, I actually contacted her and said, hey, did you know how valuable this was? Because at that point, that was like I said, the one that sold was December of 2020. So by the time she gave it to me, that one had already sold. So I'm like, there was an actual sold comp for this for $140. Are you sure? And she's like, yep, it was her, I think her father's or grandfather's or something. She was dealing with his estate. She's like, if you don't take it, it's going to go to Goodwill, which is why resellers like Goodwill. So somebody just asked when it was made. The reference that I found was 60s. It said mid-century modern, and I would say based on the mold of that, I wouldn't disagree with that. But there's nothing on here specifically to indicate when it was made.
It's a beautiful piece.
It absolutely is absolutely gorgeous. And so this will not be on live. This serial will be part of
On
the
eBay.
So this will start live tomorrow night. Some are starting at 7:30, like between 7:30 and 8:30. I think I've got 5 items scheduled, and there'll probably be, if I can get a couple more photographed, there might be more. They'll just kind of start around 7:30 and then work their way. So this is not, you can't find this yet. But this, and I won't sell this in advance. This definitely will need to go on eBay, and hopefully the right people find it and we can get a good dollar amount going to.
And remember, guys, it's for the dog. So definitely do your part to help out those little doggies that need so much care and love.
And I will also say, for those of you who do participate in the live sale, or even if you're buying things in, many of you have bought individually from me based on my videos. You send me a quick note saying, hey, I really want that. Carrie's jonesing for that milk glass owl. I will sell it. We will agree on a price that I think is a fair price. That is, all that money is going to go to the fundraiser. If you want to give more, there's an option to do that through the PayPal payment. So, and I would prefer you do that. This is one of those like deep, dark secrets people don't really talk about. There is a way, and some people did this last year, there is a way to give me donations during the live event through a super chat or through super sticker or something like that. That's great. And if you want to do that, 100% on board. However, what you need to know is 30% of that is taken by YouTube. So if you give $100, super chat specifically for the Doxies, I'm actually only going to be able to give them 70. So if you do it as a tip, I'll be able to give almost the entire amount. PayPal still takes a bit of it, but it's not nearly 30%. So just keep that like a little thing just to keep in mind. And if you want to just donate directly, you don't want to have to buy anything. And I will also say this, I appreciate everybody that wants to give. But what I would prefer not to happen is I would rather people not buy something and then not take it, because they'll buy it and then they'll say, oh no, I don't need it. Just give it to the Doxies. Well, that's great. But now I'm still stuck with the item that's not legally mine. So it's one of those, if you just want to make a donation, the address running across the bottom of the screen is your best bet. PayPal.me/JOMDR. And that puts me to the last thing, and then we'll probably just wrap up. Yes, they will get the most money if you go direct, because if you pay me, somebody just put that, because if you pay me, I end up having to pay PayPal a fee. And then when I transfer that money to Just One Word Dachshund Rescue, they will pay a fee on that. So it actually will get double fee. Now it's only like between the two fees, it's probably going to be like 5 or 6%, but it's still a fee.
No.
So, and when you're dealing with cash donations, I mean, if it's easier to just like do it as a part of an invoice, I get that. But because the cash aspect of it, I'm not a 501c3. This isn't my cash donation. So if you donate directly to them, you have a cleaner tax write-off, because if you donate $100, you can write off, assuming you don't win one of the mystery boxes, you can write off that $100 as a sponsorship, and you'll have a tax credit, or you'll have a tax thing, a chain that says you gave it directly to Just When We're Dachshund. If you give me $100, your tax receipt's going to show you gave that to Trusty Extra Mercantile, which is not a 501c3 organization. And that's why that money is being kept separate. I will do whatever I can. If I get money, I give it to them, but just keep that in mind. Also, if you donate ahead of the sale tomorrow night, we will be giving away the mystery box prizes tomorrow night. If you wait and pay, so I'll just add it to the invoice that Trusty sends me. Well, you're not going to see that possibly for a week or two, depending on how many invoices I have to do. So you will have lost your chance of being able to get a chance to win the mystery boxes. So what are the mystery boxes? I've explained it so much. Let's ask Katie to explain it. Katie, what are the mystery box prizes? What are we doing?
Well, I am very excited about the mystery boxes. Now, last year we did it a little differently, and Patrick did it.
You're I'm dragging you in this, whether you like it or not.
And Kim won all the mystery boxes from Oh My Vintage. So she won 35 of them, but that was a lot. And of course, Patrick did not expect for that many to be donated, which was wonderful, but one person got all the donations. So this year, what we are going to do is we are going to have a mystery box, and it will be each winner. There'll be several winners, and they'll get 5 boxes. So I think that's a kind of a very clever thing to do. And that way it's spread out. And we'll be able to have Canadian winners. And I don't know if we got anyone yet in the UK or not.
No, unfortunately, we didn't have enough donors to the UK. So we will, if you are from Canada, you will be entered into a separate Canadian drawing. Because last year, if for people that followed last year, Canadians were not allowed to participate. You could donate, that was great, but because particularly by the time we got to the drawing, we had so many people donating the boxes, it wasn't feasible for me to ask everyone. They were donating not only the contents of the boxes, but those resellers were also donating the shipping. And shipping to Canada is very expensive. And I just really didn't feel it was fair when it really started out as just asking my friends, just saying, hey, anybody want to do this? And suddenly they all said yes. Well, it seemed really kind of like dirty to then. So like, thanks for doing this. Now it's going to cost you like $100. So we had to keep it to US only. This time I got enough donors in Canada. The Canadian participants will have their own drawing. And I will say, based on the numbers that we've received so far, you'll have a pretty good chance if you're in Canada. So the word is not spread as far in Canada of people wanting to buy chances to get boxes. So, Canadian winners, you'll get the Canadian boxes. Americans, so right now we will have 1 Canadian winner and we will have 7 American winners. So we have enough prizes at this point that we will be able to give away 8 total mystery box sets. Each set is 5 boxes. And what we will do is Dawn is collecting all of the names. So she's keeping track. We've created a new system so that she can do it a little bit easier. Since you get a chance to win for every $5 you donate. People are being very generous. We just got a donation I found out about right before the sale started. Somebody donated, Brian Hance from Chicagoland donated $100. Well, that's great. That's 20 chances. Last year, we were having people give $100 donations during the live event, and we were trying to get caught up to make sure everyone's name was in the drawing. So we've automated that a little bit more. So we'll be able to pull the name. I will then pull the 5 mystery box resellers you will get. So it'll be completely random. All the resellers and not all of them are resellers. Some of them are just Doxie lovers and just viewers that heard about it and wanted to support the Doxies. And some have offered to do multiple boxes, to make sure since I have to get up to an even 5, people have offered to help me close that gap. So I will pull the 5 you will get by that weekend. All the winners, I will send their 5 resellers their name and address. And then the request is by the end of the month, they will have shipped their gift to you or shipped the mystery box to you. So you'll get it directly from them, not from me. So that's the goal. At this point, as I said, between what I've sold in advance and what we've received so far for donations, We have already collected over $1,000, but our goal for this year is $5,000. So, and last year, half of the money we raised was through the mystery box donations, or through the sponsorships to get a mystery box. So donations, every $5 counts, and you get a chance to win. And right now, what I wanted to give credit to, and I apologize, but I feel it's important that people are getting credit for this. So I did a bunch of posts on Instagram. I'll do some more on YouTube tomorrow. The Canadian resellers are Serendipity by Melanie, The Collection Vintage, Vintagerous, AJ's Retro and Vintage, and then Miss DAM Jewelry is going to send from the UK. She will send to Canada. So that will be the 5 Canadian resellers.
That is wonderful.
And then the US-based resellers are Dot Likes Red, The Antique Nomad, Butterfly Nurse Thrifter, Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties, Claudia K Vintage, Crafty Jackie, Deb Riley, Fatbird Finds, Carrie, Casey ATX, Kitschy and Bitchy, Corey, the Thrifted Artist, Maria, the California Thrifter, Mimi's Treasure Cottage, that's Cindy, Mr. and Mrs. Berkeley Girl, it's the other Katie, Norma Jean +1, Kim at Oh My Vintage, the previous winner. Maybe she'll donate some of the stuff that she won. No, just kidding. The Old Curiosity Shop, that's Scott, Reclaimed Treasures by Mary, Sammy's Unique Finds, Sean at Skunky Junk, Sugar Britches, Sunny's Vintage Surprises, Raspberry Pickin', that's Sue Raspberry, Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter, it's Misty, Thrifting in the Holler, it's Mickey, Thrifting Adventures, Stephanie, Thrift You, D at Thrill of the Thrift, and of course, Katie at Vintage Vinyl. Oh, go up the page. Then Vintage Vinny, and then of course me. So
what a wonderful cast of donators.
Absolutely. And I'm so thrilled that so many of them are viewers that just, they want to support. And many of them also donated some of the items that I'm going to be selling. So, people have just been super, super generous. So can you win more than once? At this point, I would say yes. Like, we're just going to do a random drawing. So if you're that lucky, you can, if you win twice and you want to donate your second to another person, that didn't get one, like, you could choose to do that. But if you then want 10, I don't see a problem with that. Last year, one person got all 35. So at this point, we'll have 40. So we actually did better than last year. So I'm excited about that.
And then when you have a chance to get multiple entries, the more that you donate.
Yeah, because we want to encourage multiple entries. So if you donate $100 or if you donate $500, you get the right to name the next dog that they rescue. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So if that's intriguing to you and you want to give $500, well, that gives you 100 chances. So I know Peterson answered the question, but I'm overriding that because, it's my show. So, you can win as many times as your name is pulled. I don't think it's totally random. So if you happen to get more than one, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because if you play the lottery more than once and you win twice, you win twice. So
exactly.
So it's one of those. They're saying it's from the 40s. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. I wouldn't have thought it was that old. Cool. But I could live with that.
And Louis says hello to all of you guys.
Jamie, at this point, what I am doing, did I name you? Have you already donated? No, you haven't. Not that I'm calling you on that. Sorry. That sounded really bad. If people are already donating one, I don't want to have them to make them donate more than once. In order to get to the even number, I am going to require people myself to give more than one box. I think officially I am at 36. So we will have to round up. So I've got 4 people that have donated. I've offered to donate. One person offered to do 3 boxes, but I don't want to call on that person to do that. So if you are interested in donating a box, that would be lovely. I am not required. Of course, it is completely optional. I'm not trying to guilt you into it by talking to you about it on air, but you asked. So, so at this point, and if we go to 41, then we'll use our roundup to go to 45. So basically, somebody, I think Sugar Britches was one of the last ones that volunteered. She's like, "Is it too late?" I'm like, "It will only be too late when we stop drawing names." So
and
if
Jamie I get a commitment, is going to donate one.
Jamie's going to donate. Okay, I'm going to put that in the list right now. You missed some of the marketing that I've done for it, but I will make sure you are included in everything that I do going forward.
And that is fabulous.
All right, thank you so much, Jamie. And I can't imagine I will need another one because I do have multiple people, and of course myself, I'm on the hook. So, and yes, of course, because Tony at Butterfly Nurse Thrifter, she has actually donated a box. You can absolutely donate cash, and if you win, you win. If you win your own box, I'll probably trade out and draw somebody else's name. Like, we're not that regimented. So yes, there's absolutely nothing, because again, Dawn will be pulling the names in Maryland. I will be pulling the names here in Illinois. There's no way to conflate anything. It's totally separate. We just need to know the numbers of what we're doing. So at this point, we're going to be able to draw 8 winners, 1 Canadian. So that's the biggest thing that Dawn is making sure we can keep track of. We want to make sure all the Canadians go into their own pool, and that they don't inadvertently go into the American pool and not have a chance to get, because at this point there are fewer entries. There's only 1 box. So, I'm not sure how the odds makers works for that, but yes, but thank you so much, Jamie. And 1 is more than enough. And that's great. Yeah, they are fun. They are fun to do. And there's no minimum. Oh, Dawn said she's going to donate one too. Well,
That
nice.
is fabulous. We are closing in the gap on the mystery box.
Absolutely. And there's no requirement. The only thing that I've requested is that you are donating the contents and you're donating the shipping. Initially, there was some confusion on that, and I had one person change their mind because they didn't want to pay for the shipping, and that's fine. So you are doing for both, but it can be anything. It could be 1 item. It doesn't have to be like a whole box of stuff. The only thing I ask is that the value of what's in the box, not counting the shipping, is at least $10. So then that way, the person that wins, because they're getting 5 boxes, they would get at least $50 worth of stuff. Now, I don't know if Kim is on here, but Kim was opening those boxes. She did a lot of videos to show what she got. Some of those boxes had to have been worth more than $100. I know the box I sent her was worth more than $100. So like I was the one doing the fundraiser. I didn't know what anyone else was going to send. I was afraid like she was going to get 34 postcards and then I needed to send something that made it worth her while. That did not happen. People were ludicrously generous.
Yeah.
So
I think once they found out that it was Kim, and we all know Kim from the community, people, I mean,
not that they
customized up anyway, but they customized, and I think that was very cool.
All right, so Maria from Empty
it will be 8 o'clock tomorrow, Lucinda Walker, if you want to come back for the fabulous fundraiser.
And what we will probably do, Dawn and I have to work this out. So the live sale will start at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will anticipate doing the drawing at approximately 10 p.m. Eastern, which means we will probably stop taking donations by 9:30 at the latest, because it has to process through PayPal, and then Dawn needs to be able to run her report. It might even have to be earlier, so we have to kind of figure that part out. But I'll make that very clear. So the sale will start at 8. That'll be the live stuff. And then at 10, we'll start doing the giveaways, see what I have left. My commitment is to be over by 11 p.m. Eastern for 2 reasons. One, Nancy from This Overstuffed House was super generous and said she was willing to forego her own sale that night to make sure she didn't pull anyone from my audience for the fundraiser.
That is kind.
So that was so sweet of her. But from a practical standpoint, I don't do 3-hour sales. I am against doing 3-hour sales. If I'm at a 3-hour sale, I'm just going to hit stop if I'm in the middle of selling something. I just don't want to run that long. So if I start doing the giveaways at 10, it's probably going to take us a while to draw everything. My goal is that'll be the last thing I do. And then whatever's left, you'll see it pop up in some sales going on through the rest of the year. I'm not going to dedicate the rest of my live sales to this because, again, 100% of what gets sold tomorrow night goes to the fundraiser. I'm not making anything. So I need to start having my own sales again. But some of the stuff that's left over will populate in there, and they'll populate into eBay because there's still some. I still don't know what to do with that weird Native American doll.
That is interesting.
It's still
and it's probably very valuable.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's some value to it. And George, the Antique Nomad, was giving me tips that it's difficult to list some of those items because eBay pulls off, like there's certain words that they don't allow anymore. So I've got to figure it all out. Oh, Nate's back. So let's see. All right. So Angela is donating. Okay. I really didn't mean to guilt anybody into doing this, but thank you so much. So,
Well, I
dear.
think now that you've announced it again, it's given people a chance to
One is
really
also
hear
like,
about it too.
it's tomorrow. Some people volunteered to do this like 3 months ago, and they're like, yeah, when am I supposed to do this? What am I doing? So yes, now it's like it's much closer window, and you have a better idea of what your time commitments are. And the one thing also take into consideration, guilting for charity. I think Dawn is an expert at that.
Well, when you see one of her dogs on her website, you can't help but not want to help out. It just makes your heart melt.
Yeah, you jump on her website, the Sarah McLachlan music starts playing in the background, and you are just in tears before you can hit the donate button. The one thing that you can do, and some people have chosen not to, which is totally fine, but each winner gets five people will be donating their boxes. If somebody does end up having to donate more than one, I'll make sure that they don't go to the same person. You as a reseller or the person donating the box, you can wait to fill it after you know where it's going. Like Katie being based in Florida, she's donated one of the boxes. If she ends up having to send it to upstate, Washington State, she'll still send some great stuff, but maybe she's not going to send the paperweights. She might send something lighter weight. So you can always fill that. You can always fill it based on, and like what people did for Kim, people they knew that she loved swans. They knew that she loved like certain things, and they knew her better than I did. So they were getting it. I'm like, oh, I should have been more personal. But what I had done was she had donated, or she had commented on one of my videos. That was back when I had a booth, and she's just like, oh, I love vintage creamers. Well, she got two shelves of creamers got donated to her, shipped to her. I don't know if she liked creamers that much, but she got an instant collection, that's for sure. So anyway, those are the mystery boxes. Thanks so much for the extra people that just donated. I've added you to my list. So Dawn, Dear Angela's Vintage, Empty Nesting, Maria, and Mid-Century Wasted. I think those are the 4 that just volunteered. Did I miss anybody, Katie?
Nope, I don't think so. I think you got everyone in the list.
And if that was an extra 4, that rounded me right up to 35 or to 40. So now everyone will only be donating 1 box. But if anyone wants to do more, you can. But we'll just we'll figure it out. So that means we will have 8 winners pulled, 1 from Canada, 7 from the United States. So it's just, and we'll see. And I'll be curious as we do the post-mortem, what worked, what didn't work. There was a question last year that once it got to the point where you knew you were going to win 30, I think when the sale started, it was 32, and then 3 more people volunteered during the sale. So we got up to 35. I think people were like, oh my, I could win 35. They were like, it was like when the lottery gets up to 500 million. It's like, okay, I never play the lottery, but I could win 35, for $5, I'll donate. I'm not sure if there's 8 winners, but now you're only getting 5 boxes. I'm curious if that's going to have a down, if that's going to hurt the donations. So we actually talked about this. Katie and I did a chat a long time ago, and we actually asked people that were on the chat, and pretty much everyone agreed 5 for 5 seemed like a really nice magic number. $5 donation, you won 5 mystery boxes, totally cool. I was thinking maybe 10. Do you still need to make it a little bit more special? Everyone agreed. And democracy sometimes wins, so we went with 5 for 5. We'll see. Hopefully we make as much money. Again, and thank you, Nancy. I got a note today that I got I got 2 notes today. 2 of them are on their way. One I have the shipping confirmation for, so I know that one's on its way. And then I hesitate to say any names because I don't want to end up guilting anybody, because the person who's already sent me the shipping confirmation, it got sent to her this week. So that person that sent it to her was already kind of not doing what they were asked to do. So it's not the fault of the person sending it to me that it's so late. They got it late, so now they're sending it right back to me, and they're even sending it priority mail, which that's fantastic, but not required. So I am getting that one. And then I did get a confirmation from somebody else saying that they did still have one, and they apologized. So that one is being shipped as well. So that will bring me up to 11 out of 21. So there are still 10 missing. Okay, well, Peterson outed herself. So there we go. So Peterson was the one who got it because she received it from somebody else. And the minute she got it, she told me, she like turned around it within like an hour, I got the shipping confirmation. So like she did her part to make sure it got to me as quickly as possible. It probably should have come to me first instead of Peterson from that shipper, but whatever. You know, Peterson, I don't think Peterson had gotten one. So she, you know, they took pity on her, and that's fine. It's, you know, at this point, they were all supposed to be auctioned off tomorrow night. Clearly, that's not going to happen because I didn't want to do it with just 9. So, and then the other one is, so I will have 11. I just have to decide, you know, if I go, I'm going to at least wait till the end of the month and see what I have. If I don't get any more, I'll just have to deal with the 11.
Yep.
You know, maybe it's, I know that Katie mailed me her recipe cards and I still don't have those either. So like in some cases,
I mailed them like
it's been
5 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weeks. So it's entirely possible they're just caught somewhere in the system. But I currently hold, now technically these are mine. You know, I started the thing, so they are coming back to me, but I'm getting them to sell for the auction or for the fundraiser. I don't want this to drag out too long. So it was a fun thing. People seem to enjoy it. So I'll probably do it again next year, but I may have to revamp a little bit. Box 5. I don't have a list of what I posted it on Instagram. If you look at my one of the reels that I did, with that,
my box is back.
Yeah. I don't remember, Jamie, if yours was one of them or not. I think it was, but I actually posted, that was actually my first reel. It was to the TikTok, the song, I Understood the Assignment. So I showed the 9 boxes I'd received that you guys all had understood the assignment. And I gave credit to the people that had sent the box. The boxes had all been to other people. And I got a couple people that I think were they thought I was upset with them, that they're like, well, I sent it to the next person, but that was like a month ago. Like, okay, well, that's not your fault.
No.
You know, clearly it's like, this isn't trying to shame anybody. It's literally at this point, we all need to do some reconnaissance saying, okay, you know what? Like Jamie, if we look on the video and I don't have yours, you'd be like, okay, well, I sent it to Frederica, and you could check with Frederica. Hey, did you send it? Oh yeah, I sent it to Hermione. She could go ask Hermione. Like at some point we could trace it. I don't want to inadvertently name somebody and think that I'm talking about them. So if there's a Frederica or Hermione watching me,
we're going Harry Potter and
the names are protect the innocent. I need correlation. It's completely by accident. That's all we're trying to do at this point. Because if somebody says, oh yeah, I shipped it back to Trusty on October 15th, I just haven't gotten it yet. And there's nothing anybody's gonna be able to do. It'll just show up when it shows up. I know that Karen Dondelinger had sent one. She had sent it as part of the chain. She had sent it to a friend. The friend never got it. So she tried to trace it. It literally never showed up. So she and her friend actually filled a box just with stuff and sent it to me. It's like, there's no book because the book got lost. Like there's one box literally missing that someday will show up at the friend's house, not my house. It'll show up at the friend's house and who knows what she'll do with it. But they waited like a month for that to show up and it never did. And it went from like someplace in California to someplace else in California. Like it didn't even go very far and it just got lost.
That's weird. It does. And the post office is so overwhelmed.
Exactly. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do. It's just at this point, if I was only missing 1 or 2, I'd just deal with it. We just do something with those if they ever showed up. But the fact that I was missing more than half of them, I couldn't in good conscience actually do anything with the ones I got, even though all the ones that returned them they followed the assignment. It was silly because I'd still end up hopefully getting all these others. So we'll see. So yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway. So definitely if you know somebody or you can trace it down, go follow out with the other people, follow up. And make sure you get those back to Patrick as soon as possible.
Yeah. And it is, I hate to, I don't mean to want to ever badmouth the U.S. Postal Service. They're against their own issues. It's just one of those, like I am planning an event in December, and mentally I was always like, it's weeks away. It's like, it's a month away. I got plenty of time. And all of a sudden this started happening. I'm like, oh damn, I better send out the things that I need to send out, because I'm going to be sending them first class mail. And that means if they get lost, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. So, and so I just packed up a bunch of stuff. So like, oh, it'll go out tomorrow. What did I forget? Tomorrow's a holiday, so there is no mail tomorrow. So I'm totally bummed because so there's a bunch of boxes that were supposed to go out today that did not. And I'm like, okay, I'll just have to send them out tomorrow. And now they're going to have to hold till Friday, which that means I've got more stuff in my house that I can't deal with until the fundraiser, but whatever. So yes, if you know about a trusty traveler, you know who you sent it to. This is not trying to point fingers. This is not trying to smoke somebody out. This is literally just like, hey, can we figure it out? Because there are people that are just like out of sheer innocence, like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I forgot it. It was sitting on a chair. I forgot. Okay, well, this is just trying to remind you, like, okay, if you know what I'm talking about, oh, that's right, I never sent it. Okay, send it to me. You don't have to send it to anybody else, just send it to me. We'll deal with it.
It's easy to forget because they're relatively small, and they get mixed in with other parcels. So I know it's easy to do, but definitely go check and make sure that we can get them all back, and then we'll know if some are actually lost or some are just sitting with somebody and they forgot.
Right. Yeah, if they're lost, and then maybe they'll show up someday. But I got a contact from somebody today, won't say who, that just simply said, you know what, I never sent it on, and I forgot. And they said, do you want me to send it on now, or should I send it to you? I'm like, no, send it to me. And I think my response was just on the side of rude, and I haven't decided which side. If I wasn't quite rude or if I passed the rude mark.
Well, you're trying to run a fundraiser, so I get where you're anxious to get all these back, and of course it's for the dogs, so you want them to be here to be able to auction them off. So I'm sure that just overwhelmed by the fundraiser stuff, it happens.
And the other thing I do want to try and figure out, because I do want to improve this, because I will do it next year, so I do want to improve this. There is a part of me, and there is reasons that I feel this way. There is a part of me that there is a possibility some of these got in the hands of people that did not want them. And if they didn't want them, then they won't move. They won't push them on. And I can't do anything about that. The request was, before you send it to somebody, please make sure they're willing to accept it and they are willing to send it on, because you're effectively not only like, yeah, you got to take something out of it. That's fun. But you had to put something back in it and you had to mail it on. And there were people that said, I do not want to participate in this because I don't feel comfortable going to the post office, or I can't afford, even though we kept it under £1, it's still first class. It's going to be like $6-7 depending on what it was. They felt they couldn't afford it. That's fine. We're not trying to shame anybody. But if somebody sent it like, Heinrich would love this. And so they send it to Heinrich, and Heinrich's like, what the heck is this? And, either just sat it in a corner, put it under the table, threw it away. I'm never going to see it. So at some point, if we do this, we'll figure out somebody sent it to Heinrich and Heinrich said, bite me, and it's never going to show up. So that's fine. Then we just need to reestablish that rule saying, okay, this is what happens when you don't ask for permission. Because I do know that they were being sent to people without permission, because I did get contacted by somebody who received too many of them. They were being sent to this individual because everyone thought it'd be fun, and because they did it once, figured, oh, they're going to want to do it again. Yeah, that gets tired pretty quick. So, it is what it is. Most people seem to have fun with it. And
it was fun. I enjoyed getting the 3 boxes I got, or 4 boxes. I think I had 4. But I love seeing what people put in. And the little log was great. That was just so cool.
Yeah. So for all those that didn't see it, I got a lot of notes like, well, I never got one. Okay, I spent hundreds of dollars to do this. So I'm hoping we'll make some money. But anyway, what it was a little box. Somebody sent me box number 7. This one came back from Steph Sells Stuff by the Seashore. This puppy weighs like 2 pounds. So she did not follow the under a pound rule, but she was sending it directly back to me. So she can put whatever she wants in it. So I sent these out. What's amazing is I think right now, of the 9 that I have, all but 2 were in their original box. They actually survived. So this was the original box. So I wrote Trusted Traveler. This was box number 7. I did not write fragile. To me, the word fragile is like a challenge to the U.S. Postal Service.
Let's kick it.
You want to tell me it's fragile? Well, you better have packed it really well because I'm going to drop kick this across the room. So I tend not to write fragile on my items, but somebody did. So Trusty Traveler, this is box number 7. There was a hashtag Trusty Travels. So if you were on Instagram, you could actually post where they were. A lot of people were not doing that, which is why I lost track of them. So I don't know where they were. And there was a little book inside. And in the book were the instructions saying this is what it is. This is how it works. Here's a little book to keep, I didn't ask for any personal information. I wasn't getting people's email addresses. It was just like, hey, put in your name. If you're on Instagram, so I can tag you later. Take an item out. You'll put in the book, here's the items that you got. You list the item you took, and then you put an item back in. So it's like geocaching. It's like Cheryl compared it to chain letters. I think that's a negative connotation. I consider this more like geocaching.
Yeah, happy mail.
Yeah, it's happy mail because you did only have one. Like I had 21 of these that I had to send out. But when you got one, you only had the one. So you opened it, you took your item out, you made a log of it, you put an item back in, and then you shipped it on. So the same box did actually survive. Now, one of them, I think Katie ended up replacing it.
Yeah, I had
because it was pretty threadbare by the time she received it.
Poor buddy, I got that box and I was like, this poor box is so sad. I mean, it had a hole in the side. I thought, no, I cannot send in good conscience as someone that also does reselling. I was like, no, I can't send this box that way. And so I got another box, and I tried to copy Patrick's.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did, like, even some of my penmanship, you were, like, actually trying to replicate what I did. So, yeah, and then in the book, there was an instruction, because I think I started sending them out somewhere around May or June. I can't remember exactly when the first one went out. And I just said, have fun with this until October. And then there was an instruction in there that if you received this book in the month of October, send it back to Trusty Huckster Mercantile. So that was the goal. And I didn't say October 1st. I simply just said October. And I will say one of the ones I received, it was postmarked October 30th. So they followed the instructions, and I got it. So that didn't take that long for me to get. But this one, Steph sent it to me on the 14th because she was coming from California. So some people took into consideration it was going to take a while to get to me. Other people maybe didn't. So maybe that's why they're missing. They sent it October 30th, and I just haven't gotten it yet. So we shall see. Again, I'm not trying to shame anybody, but I do want to figure out how to make this better. Because one of the things that I could see for the people that were hashtagging it, one of the things I could see when I started with 21 boxes. I had to put 5 items in every box. Now, the boxes started with a pair of Trusty Huckster Mercantile coasters and a mint-in box
maxi pad.
So those 2 items were in every box. And, so like the cost of those to me was relatively inexpensive. But then I had to find 3 additional items that went in. So some cases they were little pieces of porcelain. I was sending coasters. I found some weren't even that old, like magnets. But they were all inexpensive because, again, I was paying to ship all of these. Plus I was filling them up. Plus I bought the books, blah, blah, blah. Well, what was happening was people would get like kind of these relatively small, inexpensive items. And they're like, oh, I'm going to put this 50-year-old rhinestone brooch in here because it's for the Doxies and this will be great. And they shipped it to the next person. Well, the next person basically sees like 4 items that are all worth like $5 and one brooch that's worth 25.
Yeah.
And they took the brooch out and then they put something else back in. So there was this whole string of people like, oh, I'm putting this in, or I took this out. I'm like, okay, I'm about to get the box back with all the stuff I started with. So I don't know how to fix that, but it's a work in progress. Everyone seemed to have fun. Sammy, she got it once, but she said it was fun.
I took the coasters,
designed to do. Like the stuff that I got back, I'm not expecting anything to be super valuable. I assumed everything was probably going to be under $10. Now, I think Steph probably donated stuff specifically for the fundraiser, which means probably I should open it. But I want to do that all together. So it's one of those, like the last person maybe had that option, but the earlier people, when you sent something nice and it was compared to 4 things not as nice, I thought what I sent was nice. But again, I was trying to, figure out like what I could spend that was just a little bit to be something small. So anyway, we learn.
And I love the coasters I got. I had already gotten some from Patrick, but I was glad to get another set because someone in the chat suggested laminating them and making them more waterproof. And so I did that. And I thought that was really a fun experiment with these spare coasters I got. So I enjoyed that.
And it's a thing I would figure out, like, just the book was too big. You know, it never circulated enough to fill the book. That's fine. That's not a big deal. But maybe the instructions were too complicated or they were too long. People don't like to read instructions. We had a small problem that some items were getting damaged, you know, so that I shipped everything with bubble wrap. But I saw a picture at one point where somebody actually took a picture of all 5 items they got in the box. Not a piece of bubble wrap was left in that box. Everything was in a Ziploc baggie, but one of the items was broken. I don't know if it was that picture, that was a different one, but people were contacting me saying, I don't know what to do. You know, there's 5 items in here. One of them is broken, you know, and so it's like some people said, look, I'll take the broken one out and I'll take what I want, but I'll put 2 items back in. And I'm like, okay, like it was one of those, like, let's at least keep 5 things, but I didn't want somebody not to be able to appreciate. Some people were super, super generous and really like wanted the spirit of this to keep going, which is why, and several people have commented on this, which is why it was very surprising when so many didn't show up. So, you know, we'll figure it out.
Well, it's always like herding cats. And when you do something good, sometimes I think someone put in the chat, a good deed never goes unpunished. And
there you
that's
go.
true
and maybe at the end of the day, a lot of them will be like, no, I did send it, you know, and I'll know. It says right on here what day it was sent. So it's not like you can hide it. So if somebody tries to say, you know, just like they say, no, I didn't see your invoice and I could tell you read it. You know, no, I sent it in October 3rd. Yeah, that's funny. Post office says you sent it December 18th. So, you know, it's not that, again, not trying to guilt anyone, really just trying to coordinate, figure it out, close this chapter to see, you know, because right now I'm going to end up saying, okay, I'm going to make a donation to the charity, but now this part is going to have to be separate. You know, I'm going to have to do more than one donation as well as some of the other items that were donated. So anyway, so we,
and yes, I see that they're debating on who stole the bubble wrap, Hermione or Frederica.
You never know. Could have been both. They could have each taken a couple sheets. You never know.
Yes,
that's joint effort. All right, we've devolved into a very bizarre version of Harry Potter meets Sound of Music. So we are going to stop and pretty much showed. Well, the only other thing I didn't show, I think I showed this once before. He's going to be in the live sale. I think he's cool.
He's very cool.
I don't know what he is. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's made out of. He's just kind of fun. So he'll be part of the live sale. I've got a set of Balik. I think I showed this on the video that just went live. So this will be the creamer and sugar. That is
beautiful.
Oh, this I did. So this is just an example of some of what I'm going to do tomorrow night. There's so many things to sell. Shipping is a whole other issue, but I've lovely individuals who've offered to help me pack. So that'll be great. But I showed, let me go back to full screen. I showed him in the Name That Breed event. I showed him the little bobblehead in that Name That Breed event. And I showed him in that Name That Breed event. All 3 of these are going to be sold as a lot. I just think that we all just determined that they're cartoon dogs. They're just fun. And I can sell them as a lot. And I think the same audience would like those. And that's one. I still have to pack 3 items, but I only have 1 lot that I have to sell, so I can get through more items tomorrow night. Katie and Nate are already on patrol to make sure I don't do what I'm doing right now and just talk and
sharing a million stories.
Oversharing. It's going to be like, here, it's a Pekingese, $10, done. Moving on.
Here's a great thing, $5.
Yep, we're going to try and keep it. My goal is to do at least 30 items for the hour. Some people do way more than that. That's more than I ever do. So I'll try and do at least 30 items per hour. That's 1 every 2 minutes. That's fast for me. I will say I will have, so Nate can get some sleep tonight. I will have 6 generic mystery boxes from items that are donated that I will do all at one time. So those will be guess the number, and the first 6 people that guess that number will be able to get a box. So that will happen. And I have multiple mystery boxes. So those will be like the generic ones that all, and everything is donated. So those will all be items. I will have 3 dog themed mystery boxes. I will have 2 ephemera themed mystery boxes. So by doing some of those, I'm getting through more items. Some of them are items that I'd showed in haul videos, or I showed specifically in the videos that no one offered to buy. So then, so I don't feel bad that because some of them are donated items. Like I feel bad they're not going to get some airtime. I just have to be practical. I can't.
Yeah.
If I tried to sell everything individually, I would be all night, and I'd be doing it for weeks. I literally, there's at least 200 items around me right now, at least. So some of this stuff just going to have to get combined. So,
well, you have to for your own sanity too.
Yeah, and we may revamp it next year, to try and tighten things up a little bit. So there we go, Armageddon.
Yeah. That's I like that
code word. So they will keep me on task tomorrow night. And so join us tomorrow night, 8:00. This was not a typical DuoDive. So if you came for a DuoDive, I apologize. This ended up just kind of being a Katie and Trusty chat night, which are fun in and of themselves. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And we will be on my channel tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Dawn will be on as well, and she will be showcasing some of the Doxies in her sanctuary. Did she ever answer the question of how many she had? I think I missed it.
No, I was watching for that and I didn't see it.
Okay, so maybe she had to sign off when I'd asked that. So I think she's around 18 to 20. I know one of the ones that she just within the last couple of weeks rescued is blind. So I think that's now the second dog that she has is blind, and there's a third dog that might lose an eye because it was not cared for previously. So again, there's definitely some health issues. What's that?
She has 24 of them now.
Oh wow, that's even more than I thought.
That's amazing.
Just can't say no. Like it's hard, and some of the stories they get, like that Sarah McLachlan music it's light compared to what she's going through. So yeah, so she must have said it before. I guess we just missed it. So Jennifer said it was 24.
Yeah, the chat was moving fast, so I probably missed it. Yeah, but that is amazing.
And I'm horrible at monitoring the chat. We all know that. So yeah, I missed it. So anyway, well, you are an angel on earth, Dawn, and I don't use that term very often. It's amazing what you do. So this is just a very small thing that I can do, and glad that this community can come together, and hopefully, even if we don't make the 3,500 we made last year, hopefully it's money that you can use for something. So like I said, I think at this point we're up to, we're over $1,000 we've already collected, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night. So paypal.me/JOMDR gets you donation directly to the charity. For every $5, you'll get an entry. I will showcase, I meant to do it today and I get them done maybe tomorrow. There are some sponsorships that are kind of fun. And if nothing else, they're educational, because what she did was she broke down how much she spends in a week on food, how much she spends in a week on medicine, how much she spends in a month for medical bills. It's jaw dropping. So you would have an opportunity, if you wanted to specifically say, oh, I donated $50. That's a week's worth of medicine or whatever. I can't remember what the different cross references are. So I will make sure those get highlighted, and we will cover those during the sale tomorrow night.
That is amazing.
So, and Jennifer thinks I'm talking too much. So, okay. So we're going to close things up.
Well, and since Nate is here, Nate had asked me about this earlier. So sorry, Patrick, I'm going to take over.
No. Go ahead.
I want to mention that Nate and I are going to be joining forces and doing a fun cooking video. Nate will be sharing his voice and narrating the cooking process for one of his famous recipes. And I will be cooking and sharing that video soon on YouTube. So stay tuned for that, guys. And just since Nate was here, I wanted to mention that.
Perfect. All right. And on that note, we will close things out. Thanks again for all your time. Help me keep on track, Katie. And even though I will hold it against Jennifer for screaming Armageddon.
Everyone knows
if you're used to my channel, you're kind of used to it. But tomorrow night we will try and be a little bit tighter because I need to crank through. Tonight was just all for good fun. So hope you guys all had fun hanging out, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. And hopefully some of you can join tomorrow night. at the live event for the Just One More Dachshund at 8 p.m. Eastern, my channel, Thursday, November 11th. So thanks a lot. Everyone have a great night. And thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. Talk to you again soon.
Bye, guys. Help those dogs.